Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Metalhead's Manifesto. It's the 10th episode, and this still being the Halloween month, we thought we were going to come out and do a little bit of a list here of some of the horror movie icons that we've liked ourselves and some of the classic ones and rank them here and see where they fall. My name is Kai. This is Makai over here. And you got anything you want to say before we start getting this thing going?
Not really. Just like you're doing some of the more traditional, I'm doing some of the more obscure. I think that's a kind of a nice way to balance it in that way. Because I think the best way I've loved gore movies since I was a kid. I've always gone out of my way to find some of the most ridiculously effed up movies we can think of. So
Yeah. Um, I tried to get a few obscure ones, but most of mine are still like most people would think of mine as traditional stuff.
yeah,
And I've kind of thought of the irony on that a little bit, even with a list like this that we've been trying to put together here before we get started. Even me and you, when it comes to our musical differences, I'm more of a traditionalist, and you're more of out there in the wild, so to speak. So this is kind of just par for the course for the two of us still in this regard. So.
I mean, it's almost like it's a pattern. It's almost like I go out of my way to find the most extreme things I enjoy. I don't know,
And to a lot of people's opinion, I stay relatively safe.
man. Yeah. To be fair, you do throw yourself out there a little bit, like quite literally. Like you're a wrestler. So.
That's that'll help. Anyway, yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to be ranking these. I guess we're doing the S through D, and we'll see where these people line up. What do you think when we at the end of this thing, though, when we get all these people up in the S, we try to figure out of the S's who would actually win in a fight against all of them that are in that S category?
That could be an interesting, but it depends how many S's we get. Because like,
Well, yeah,
are we going
we
more
need a criteria.
traditionalist like S? Because technically, out of all of them, I imagine it would be Pinhead who would win basically most of it. Just judging from who we have
Well,
in. What's
well,
that?
that's an interesting one to say. There are a few in here that would be pretty on par with him, actually. Maybe 1 or 2 at minimum.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I guess it would depend on who's in there and what
Yeah,
we judge the criteria on as
yeah.
to what we're doing. Are we doing this based off of just how effective the character is, you would think? I mean,
Just
is
pure
that way
power,
you wanna
just
go?
pure how destructive they are, what they do, etc.
Okay. So
I
just how destructive how dangerous they or would you survive
Yeah,
an encounter with this character?
yeah. Like if you like fucked with the scouts, would you be able to survive it? Would you walk home afterwards, or get back
Okay.
afterwards? Or you know what I mean?
Or could you, is the
Yeah.
thing.
Could you survive it?
Okay.
Generally, no. Depending on most of these, you probably wouldn't survive it. So either
Yeah.
way.
So, I guess since that's what we're doing, I'll let you, if you don't care, you're controlling that part of the board, so you start us off and, see where we're going from there.
Let's start with Mr. Spaulding, which is your choice, I believe.
Alright, Captain Spaulding, House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and From Hell.
hmm
I really did I love Sid Haig. I just
Rest in peace, by the
I
way.
mean, yes, rest in peace, Sid. I love that man for what he did with that. How else do you get a fucking clown that owns a fucking gas station, thrift shop, souvenir shop with fried chicken and blow people's brains out at the
I
at
know,
the
right? He's
opening
also
of the movie,
he's also
man?
got his little house of horrors as well. That he's got this little tour he takes people on.
But yeah, the only thing I don't like about that particular series, though, just to say the least, is we didn't get to see a lot of Doctor Satan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think it was more of a. It felt like more like an acid trip when we did go to see, like, Doctor Satan. I think it was like a
Yeah.
the end of the line type stuff, like where. But she still escaped us, I think. Like even though when she went to go see Doctor Satan at the end of like corpses, like
Mm.
she still escaped. I mean, she ran into Captain Spaulding at the end, which didn't really help her, but you know.
Yeah, that didn't help. That never helps anyone. But, yeah, in terms of just effectiveness and surviving Spaulding, I guess he's kinda shown, in my opinion, from the way the movie portrays him, if you don't piss the guy off, he's probably gonna leave you alone
He's probably
for
the
the
most
most
chill
part.
out of all of them in like between Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses. He's probably the most chill out of basically all of them.
Well, I mean, Otis is just a fucking nutcase.
Oh yeah, I mean that's his whole character. So is Baby though. Baby is a bit of a nutcase too.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh,
But
it's
yeah,
took
I
like a
mean, if
whole
you
bunch
just
of cheerleaders and everything, man. He's done like some insane stuff.
so yeah, I do. I think if you just don't piss Spalding off, you'd probably be alright. So I'd say he'd be C or D in my opinion
Yeah, I'll say
in
he's
terms of power.
basically just a human because like even when he is like if he's full force pissed off with you, he's still limited by his humanity. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not like something which is more supernatural, which could like he's not like a leprechaun um, or like
Anybody else
or
on
like
this
a
list?
pinhead or like a machine or you know what I mean. He's not like a. I'm gonna put him in C. I think C is a good place. We can move him if we need to.
Yeah, if we need to.
Hmm. So yeah, where would you go?
Alright.
Which one do you want to go for?
Alright, let's see. If I can read that list right, is that Cannibal Holocaust down there?
Yeah, that's kind of a holocaust.
Let's go there, see what you got on there.
Okay, that one's one of mine. So it's a classic. I think everybody who's into their obscure horror knows about Cannibal Holocaust. Is one of those things which you hear about. It's basically shot like a documentary, like a bootleg documentary, like that you'd find in like the back corners of the internet or like on VHS tapes back in the day. And it's about they go to visit a tribe and they are known to be cannibals. They're known to kill people, but they go and do it anyway and decide to piss the tribe off. And guess what? They get eaten and killed and dismembered in multiple ways, and fun things.
Is there any, like, real villain to this one, or is it just the
No, it's
society that
no, it's like it's a society. They go into like a back into like tribal people who are very cannibalistic and very
mhm,
into like they're more into their own nature than it is. It's more about like we fucking with people we shouldn't be fucking with rather than anything really extreme or supernatural or it's just really messed up in the way it's shot. If that makes sense.
yeah,
If you've ever seen it,
I
I
get
don't know
what
if you have, but
I will say that, no, I have not seen this one. I will probably need to look into it, though. That I mean, that's part of this for anybody else probably too, if they ain't heard of these things,
Mhm.
especially from your end, that these are probably he probably would vouch for seeing these, I would imagine, at least once,
Yeah,
if you have a stomach for
I mean
something.
some of them. I don't. I've only included one extremely fucked up one. I've tried to keep it more. I won't say tame, but I've like purposely not included like specific ones which are really, really, really messed up.
Mhm.
I haven't included a Serbian film in there as an example because that is the ending of that film. You should never watch that movie like ever in your life. It will scar you for the rest of your days. So, anyways,
Mm,
so yeah, I think for
okay then.
like I think the Cannibal Holocaust, and I would say they are probably like a C tier, a B tier, just because they are human. They are, but they're violent, but only when you provoke them. Like they're more like Captain Spaulding than they are like anything else.
But would they be probably more leaning towards B just because, just like Spalding, though, there are more numbers, would numbers make them more dangerous than Spalding?
Yeah, they're a whole tribe. They're a whole tribe of like cannibalistic people. It's not just one person. It's like like even if you included all of the Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses cast, they would still be dwarfed by the tribe. So
Mhm.
that's gonna be something
So
thinking
that means
beats
they
it.
would be,
Yeah.
yeah, they would definitely be we're doing this based off of how dangerous they are, they would definitely go above the captain.
Then yeah, they're definitely going into beats it. But no, Cannibal Holocaust. It's you can watch it multiple times. It's one that me and my fiance both like. We've seen it, and well, she got more scarred by it than I did. But again, I'm into more
Is this
brutal gore horror films, and most people are. So.
is this one of your go-to Halloween rewatches, or is it just a whenever rewatches kinda deal?
No, this is just you watch it a couple of times and then it loses its appeal. I would say, like I think it's
Oh,
shocking when you first see it. It's like a kind of like shock and done type movie. I would say
mhm, I
personally,
see.
but yeah, back to me, I guess. Let's see, what should we go
Yeah,
for?
back to you.
I think we should go for let's go for Jigsaw, man. Why not? Let's go for Saw. Let's go to a classic.
Sorry. Yes. Jigsaw, John Kramer,
hmm
cancer
but
patient that
where?
decided to try to off himself and decided that he couldn't off himself and wanted to test people for the rest of his life.
Sure.
That man, if he had more resources than what he had shown in those movies, you imagine how dangerous this son of a bitch would really be?
Yeah, but he was like a millionaire. I'm pretty sure John Kramer was a millionaire at the very least, just from the ventures that he had, the buildings that he owned. I imagine he was quite
Mhm.
rich, to be fair.
Yeah. But just in term and the fact his disciples and following and the fact that he has people on top of people that even the people don't know about when you talk about Dr. Gordon and,
Yeah.
uh, Hoffman for a while, for a few of them and
Even Amanda
all
towards the
that.
beginning.
Yeah. So, the people that people don't even know about that all know how to do the things that he is about doing, even though he does say that he likes his stuff to be fair, and some of his stuff that he even did wasn't exactly what I don't guess really fair,
I
but
mean, the
I
only
guess
ones
that's
that I've
in
seen that are truly unfair are the ones which either Hoffman or Amanda did, because Hoffman didn't give a fuck either way. And Amanda got
mm,
a god complex, like especially the angel. You know, the one where the female detective gets put into the trap with her ribcage in it, where she gets free, but
mhm,
she can't move it from her ribs, obviously. So
yeah,
I can't say
yeah, that
Jigsaw
that was a
himself or like John himself who does unfair ones. Maybe the most unfair is probably, you know, that fat guy who was like surrounded by barbed wire and had to get out. He had to cut himself many times to get out. Maybe that one
mm.
specifically, or maybe a couple of others, but not insanely unfair.
The only one of his that I really am questionable is the dude covered in the jail with the candle that had to run around the room to find the code to the door with all the numbers on the wall and stuff
Oh
like
yeah, no,
that.
that one was very unfair. I do agree with that because one slip and he basically burns to death.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, 90 a good percentage of Johns, I will say, in my opinion, were for the most part fair,
Yeah.
except for the one he did to that one guy that said he was a jigsaw victim.
Oh, Caesar. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know what you mean.
Uh, Because a lot of that dude's trials was just to have all the people that were to defending him saying for him in his book and everything, just to get rid of them and show him what it's like to actually go through that shit.
Yep.
But he never died in his. He just lost everybody he ever knew
That's true. I
that
mean,
was
like,
attached
there's,
to his profession.
yeah. I mean, like, there's a it's like it's very much like a revenge fantasy or like a yes it like kind of helped invent the torture porn genre along with Hostel and like movies like that, but
Mhm,
it kind of invented that term and that terminology to describe what was already a thing way before Saw ever existed. It just became more
mhm,
mainstream, should I say. It kind of helped push that more extreme gore into the mainstream, like especially because like from Saw 1 to Saw 2, like it really showed like how psychologically like horror it could be, because Saw 1 was very psychological. It wasn't actually as gory as people would expect. It's only when we got to Saw 3 is when they really stepped up with the gore and they really added the effects into it. So
mhm. But just due to money, cult power,
yep.
using industrial machines, stuff of that nature, I'd say that Jigsaw is, in terms of being dangerous, B or A alone, because I don't think we can put anybody without supernatural powers in S, really,
No.
can we?
No, I would say he's like the Batman of the gore world, if that makes sense. With enough prep time and
Yeah.
enough money, he can do anything, I would say.
Yeah, so if he was in B, would he be ahead of or behind the Holocaust, do you think?
Depends how much prep time. Like I said, man, it's like prep time plus because he gets his
Well, yeah.
victims unaware. He doesn't go face to face. If that makes sense, he's someone you don't see until you're already trapped. So it's kind of
Yes.
hard to place him above or below. If it was just a one-on-one, say if we did like a death battle of them, obviously he would get nowhere. But it depends how
No,
you want to
he wouldn't
utilize
he
it.
would
So because you could
yes, I
because
mean,
if
he
it was
wouldn't.
pure that way, it would be a D tier because he wouldn't. He's a dude with cancer. Like, what is he going to do?
Yeah, because then you'd have that one guy says, "Well, he could beat the Holocaust because all he has to do is just rig up some nail bombs and let them run through the tripwire, and then they're all dead."
That's true, but they also
But,
have their own traps and things as well that are in the
yeah,
forests that they have, and it's not just him
I'm
with
just saying
traps. Yeah.
you'd have that one guy that would say nail bomb would be the
Oh
answer.
yeah, I know, but then again, the Cannibal Holocaust people they have traps, so obviously because like they hunt, so in order to hunt things, you have to be able to trap. So
So I guess with what you said there, even with that, I mean, due to his biggest weakness being a elderly cancer patient, that
mhm.
actually does put him below Captain Spaulding
Yep. In terms of like a pure dude without prep time, without anything,
because
if we rating it pure on power, on like what he can do destructively, it's not very high. So
no, and he I mean, he couldn't beat Captain. He couldn't beat any of Captain's children,
no.
half children, whatever they are to him.
Hmm.
So, I mean, without his followers, since we're not saying all of Jigsaw, we're just doing it as John,
Yep.
he would. Unfortunately, as much as it pains me, he has to be in the D
He does. That's
tier.
true. See, we never expected this when we started. We expected him to be higher, but no. Thinking about it,
Oh, yeah, I wanted to put him up higher
yeah, thinking
until I
about it
started thinking
logically
of
though.
the higher has to be the people with supernatural powers
Yep, because we're doing it
because that
by threat level, so we're not
mm,
doing it by
yeah.
ingenuity
If we were
or
doing it by
villains
intelligence,
or
he'd be up there in the S's.
like I said, he's the Batman
If it was
of the Gore films, man, or like the Gore series. He's very much the you know what Batman is in terms of of a superhero. He is to a villain. So
Naomi. Okay, sorry. I had to tell my daughter something.
no, you're fine.
Anyway, moving on.
So yeah, he's
Yes, you're
in the
right.
D tier.
Batman of the Batman falls into he don't even get a B tier
Nope. Because he doesn't have cool
because
gadgets and like a suit and like random people he can beat up and shit. I don't know.
mhm,
It's probably a bad analogy to be fair. So
yeah,
yeah, back to you,
because he
I
does
guess.
have gadgets,
Oh yeah, he just have
but he has to
gadgets.
make
Yeah, he's more an engineer than he is a superhero or supervillain
yeah.
in this case.
Alright. You pick John. I'm going to let's see. Gonna pick one I don't know because I know that's the right way to do this. One beside Pennywise, to the right of Pennywise.
Red Room. Okay. So Red Room is a series of games on like so like imagine like a back room, dark web, like internet show. And a
Mm,
group of contestants are put into a room and they are given like a thing like it's like a truth or dare basically. Like it's like truth or dare but taken to the like nth degree. So like if they win a bunch of money, I think it is, or they win something at the very least. And they constantly one up each other, so they dare them, or they so they either have a truth or they have a dare, and they one up each other try to get somebody to quit. And it goes to bad degrees, like it goes to the point where there's a bottle inserted somewhere and it's glass and it breaks, and you can imagine. And then somebody has to
mhm.
put their thing inside of that glass and where that thing broke, and you know, it goes to crazy degrees, which I don't think I can talk about on YouTube. I probably can talk about it on YouTube, but and
Let's
stuff
just
like that.
say there's a lot of, explicit material there for that
Yeah,
person.
there's like multiple films in the series. I think there's like two, maybe three. Like the first one is the one that I described. So if you are looking to watch that one I just described, it is the first one. It is Japanese gore, Japanese horror. It's like a tamer Japanese gore, but it is a very good film. It's obscure, should I say, but it's still a very, very good movie. So it's done well in my opinion. It's low budget, but it's a very good low budget.
Do they ever get introduced to the person operating the game?
Nope. It's just they are just with each other. So you'd have to judge it off the contestants and how willing they are to push the limits into like because it starts off quite tame. So it starts off with like like some truth and like a hitting and slapping and undressing
Mhm.
and that type of fun turns into obviously what I described after that. And so it's not it's more like a really messed up game show than it is anything else, I would say. They're not like villains or like super villains. It's like the normal people who are pushed to like one up each other in order to get out of the retro, basically.
Okay. By the unfortunate the might be a wrong answer in your opinion, I don't know, but that would be down there with John then, wouldn't it?
I would say more like Spalding. They are willing to do the most crazy stuff though. They are willing to
Mhm,
push that limit to survive to win money because it's not like they don't do it because they will die. They do it because they want to win money. If that makes sense, which I think makes them worse. Like like
well,
Captain
yeah.
Spaulding and his family do it because they're deranged. They do it because they enjoy it. They do it for money. They don't do it because they enjoy hurting people. They do it because they they want to win money. They want to like better their lives in that way. So
So, if we put it with Spalding
hmm I would say that's pretty fair.
okay, if we put it with Spalding, does, now, the way you got that well, would they be behind him, you think, still? Because of just how? Because I could see that being a contained thing.
Yeah, maybe like that. Like, yeah, it's a contained thing. It's like a. I don't know if it's quite they wake up. It could be that they wake up in the Red Room. It's something like that. Either wake up or they go into it willingly, or it's something to that degree, basically. But they can all say that they don't want to participate anymore. You know, they can opt out of the money. Basically, there's nothing forcing them to be there. So,
Okay.
which I think makes it more fucked up in its own way. I think that makes it
Yeah,
gives it
because
that extra level to it.
if you have a free way out, then yeah, it kinda does make it a little bit more screwed up
Yep, totally,
if the way
totally.
out isn't just death,
No,
and
the
it
way
does
out is you
and
just
you
leave.
and it
Yeah,
yeah, and you know that from the beginning, so
yep, yeah, they did. Yep, and they did all kinds of, as you can imagine, did some crazy shit to win what they wanted because they had to make the people quit.
mhm.
So yeah, they went to very crazy degrees. Anyways, my turn. I'm guessing. Let's go with a
Yeah, it
controversial one.
is.
Let's go with Terminator.
T-800, Cyberdyne Systems Model 101. That thing scared the shit out of me as a child when it was running around in its, endoskeleton form,
But he's so cute.
exoskeleton, whatever you wanna call it.
But he's adorable.
He
Look
is
at him.
now. He is now. It is now, but it wasn't then.
I mean, even as a kid, I
But there
found him
again,
adorable. But I guess I'm more fucked up than you. I guess in that
you might be.
way. Yeah.
I grew up in a religious home, so the seeing a skeleton was a weird thing.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. I didn't think about that. I forgot where you were for a second. So
But yeah, yeah. But the concept of something that's coming back in time that can go back in time and get to anybody before they're even around, since that was the premise, is trying to get rid of John Connor before John Connor existed to begin with.
yep.
Which there was, and they've even retconned that a lot where they went even further back before that, in some ways too, and
Have you
all
seen
over
the new
different
anime
places.
of the Terminator? Curiously, you know the new anime that dropped on
I
Netflix recently.
didn't,
It's
I
very
didn't
well
know there
done.
was a new one. No.
Yeah, it's very very well done.
Mm.
I've seen most of it. It's a
What
very very good adaptation of like a Terminator.
what are they following storyline wise with that?
They
Are
are
they still
going
doing the
to the
John
dude
Connor?
who invented. So you know how Skynet. This dude invented the
Mm.
the, the other artificial intelligence that's almost against Skynet, basically.
Oh,
So it's like two different AIs. So
mm,
like there's one that's Skynet, and one that is like a different like artificial intelligence that he made to combat Skynet. But it's but in Japan, and it goes badly on him. But they come back to try and stop him, basically. It's a
hmm.
similar premise to original Terminator, but adding its own spin onto it. I don't know how canonical it is. I'm assuming it should be, but I don't know.
Yeah, I had to look into it later and see. But specific now, when we're talking about this, we're specifically talking about
Yeah.
the T-800, not the T-1000 or even the 850 or the
So Terminator 2
TX or
is what you say.
Terminator 1's the 800.
Okay.
And technically Terminator 2 is the 800 too. He's not the 850 until Terminator 3.
Okay. I got you.
But um, so those two Terminators specifically,
Okay.
that particular model. So in terms of just power, it's been proven if you have improvised explosives, you can damage it
I'm gonna put
severely.
him. I would put him there personally. That's what I would put him. I don't know if you agree with
Mhm.
it, but
But but explosives are the only fucking thing that we have on besides maybe an anti-tank rifle. But who has an anti-tank rifle? But you ain't stopping that thing if it's in front of you.
no,
At least I ain't stopping it if
like
it's in front of
nothing,
me. I
like
can tell you that.
nobody like below him could stop him. That much I will agree. Like nobody below him would stop him. It would take a lot of firepower to stop him. You would have to be supernatural. You'd have because I
I
don't
mean,
even think Freddy could stop him. That's what I mean. I don't think Freddy could stop him just because he doesn't dream.
the only
So
the only thing if his scanners didn't pick it up, the only one on this list that could stop him would be Jigsaw if he had something rigged up for it.
yeah,
But
but
he'd
then
have to have something
again,
really big.
yeah, that's true. That's not something that could like. But he's an engineer though. To be fair though, John's probably a very good candidate to take him out because he is like a structural
Mhm.
engineer. He is very like minded. Once he knows that's a machine, he's gonna find those weak spots and he's gonna dismantle that thing. So
Yeah, magnets, electricity, probably,
he's gonna know
that
exactly how to
basic
stop it.
stuff.
So it's weird. Like that's why it's weird. John is so low because like we know he's so smart at what he does. It's just because of how we've
He
decided
just doesn't.
to like
Yeah,
think
just
about
the
it.
threat level is the T-800 is. I mean, the Firefly family, they go up against the Terminator, and if he's still in Arnold mode, where he's not a exoskeleton, they're
Hmm.
just dead. They're dead before they even knew what the fuck they did.
They're the people who he steals his clothes from. That's literally all they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, when he's first sent back. But
and
yeah,
then all the other ones is just, same story, different day. I mean, just goes in there and does Terminator things.
yeah, I agree. I mean, like for me, the Terminator was always really cool. Like I loved like how like crisp they got the CGI and the practical effects and everything on those movies for how old they are. It still holds up really well even nowadays. It's such a good movie. Like I'm not
I
a
mean, yeah,
massive
because
fan
that
of
image
like Arnold's, but like he did really good in this role. I will say.
yeah, and I mean, hell, that image you got right there, that's from the first I believe that's from one of the first movie. Either that or the second when they're out that might be from the second one when they're out showing the war at the beginning kinda thing.
Oh yeah, it could be. It could be from any of those. There's a whole bunch of war scenes, isn't there? So
I know it's an older image, it's not a more because you can still tell it's a little dated looking.
yeah.
Lot of heavy shadow usage and all that, but
Oh yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
that's what adds its own
the
ambience, I should say.
yeah, but yeah, that thing, yeah, I mean, like you said, everyone below it, they're not stopping that thing.
No, nothing stopping
No,
that.
no one is.
Like I would say it's going to take a lot, even for the supernatural ones, to be able to stop it. So
With the exception of a few, yes.
yeah, but yeah, we'll see.
Alright, moving from there,
Hmm.
I'm trying to like I said like you said, I can't really read them too well. Let's do your Gore Police one. Do the Gore Police
You
one.
want to do Tokyo Gore, please? Okay.
Yeah.
So how the fuck do I describe this movie? It's batshit crazy. I think that's the best way I can describe it. I think that's the best way to ever describe the movie. It's over the top to death. It's like it's gore movies plus comedy plus more gore movies on top of that gore movie comedy. So it's like it's so fucked up beyond measure. The things that happen in it. Like it's very much based around mutants and eating people and very much about slicing and dicing and filling rooms with blood and like completely manipulating humans and like killing humans and killing each other and it goes crazy basically.
Doesn't it have, prosthetic, like, very, extreme prosthetic things in that one, or is that the other movies in that series that has,
No,
like, people
that's
with
that movie as well.
weapons
It
that
has
grab
crazy prosthetics. The prosthetics are the mutants. That's like what I would describe as the mutant part of it. So the main protagonist, which is the girl you see on the cover of it, she
mm,
basically becomes more mutated and more. She has more prosthetics onto her. The further along in the movie you get, so she starts off fairly normal, and then the further on she gets, she adds bits and removes bits, and gets bits, and she loses bits, and that's what it gets crazy. Like I can't describe it well enough without me showing it to you because I can't describe it well enough to do it. If that makes sense.
oh, of course not. I've heard a lot about this movie, from our other compatriot that we have, in other places of the world, but,
Hmm.
he speaks very highly of it as well, and,
I own it on Blu-ray.
now
If that tells you anything. So.
oh, well, we might look into that at some point. Now with her, are we ranking this from her perspective
Yeah,
or from what she's dealing with perspective?
from her perspective.
Okay. So with what you said, and I'm assuming that since she's the main character of the thing, she obviously does survive throughout the whole thing. I don't know that for a fact. I mean, she could die at the end for all I know.
I'm not going to spoil the movie, but yeah. But no, she is like
All right.
but no, in terms of like going throughout everything that she does, so she starts off fairly normal, fairly human, should I say, and then obviously she mutates and she gets lots of other stuff, and everybody mutates,
Mhm.
and it gets more and more and more bizarrely gorily fucked up. So personally, I would put her on par with maybe the Terminator, the T-800. I would say
Does
just
she
big.
have any? Sorry.
Sorry, Ethan.
Go ahead.
No, no, good. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, does she have any healing factors or anything like that?
Yeah, she loses limbs and just replaces them with more things. That's what I mean by she mutates. Like she doesn't really
Okay. So there's I mean, yeah, but you understand where I'm wondering. I'm just wondering if she
yeah.
has
Like
healing factors on top of the mutation stuff, or is
like
it just
like as an example, there is one mutation she fights where it's like where they lose their legs and they regrow legs, which are two massive jaws that chomp people to death.
hmm,
So like the mutations are crazy.
interesting?
Without me showing you, like I can't describe it well enough for
Yeah,
you to
yeah, yeah,
understand
yeah.
it. So.
I can get at least a little bit from it there.
Mhm.
But so as you were saying with her ranking, you said she'd be up there with the Terminator.
I would say so. I would say she'd give it a good fight just because of the kind of mutation she could potentially do. Just with the
Mhm.
kinds of things that she generally like does. I would say she could definitely do it.
Now, I'm gonna say just, unless we're doing this as an omniverse type thing, I'm gonna say Skynet wouldn't know how to kill her, though. So I'd say
Mm,
she'd be above the Terminator.
would you say so? Would you say A tier, but above the Terminator?
Yes.
Would you say like
Yeah,
that?
I mean, like, the Terminator falls behind because I don't know, I mean, unless we're doing an omni universe thing where Skynet just knows everybody on this list, which if it does, then Terminator's top of S at that point.
No, we're
But,
doing it where
um,
Skynet is Skynet, no matter what. So,
okay.
or we're doing it
So
where
Skynet's just
like it's just the Terminator's intelligence. It's not Skynet's intelligence.
okay. Well, if it's just the Terminators, he only has basic combat knowledge for humans. That's his only thing.
So
So
yeah,
he wouldn't,
he wouldn't
after
know how
so
to kill
much time with her,
her.
he wouldn't be able to beat her.
No,
He
basically
wouldn't know what to do.
she would keep going until obviously there's ways to kill her. You'd obviously he could try to like I think cutting off a head might kill her, but it's just getting her.
Yeah, so I do feel comfortable with her edging out the T-800 for that one because I
Mhm.
just don't think that eventually he would be able to keep up with what she's turning into.
Yeah, it would have been good to have me to probably have watched that film before I did this just to remember exactly what happened. But I just remember how fucked up it is. That's like the most
Oh, well,
thing
I mean,
for it. So
that's the thing with it too. I mean, I do feel comfortable with that being there, but I
yeah,
believe it falls back over into your hands now, sir.
yeah, back into my hands, man. Sure, let's go Leprechaun, man. Why not? Let's go for the Leprechaun
The
guy.
Leprechaun,
I love that guy,
the
man.
most bullshit character ever in
No,
horror.
no, this dude did to me what Terminator did to you as a kid. So.
Oh, you didn't like the little people?
Not as a kid, man. I watched this film when I was like 7 or 8. So I watched this film on the Sci-Fi Channel at like 11 o'clock at night. So
I tell you, you know a series gets bad when they wind up doing the in space movie, right? That's
like
usually
Hellraiser did that, Leprechaun did that. Yeah,
Jason did it,
yeah, that's
but
true.
um, but yeah, that little motherfucker though, man, he's one vindictively creative little bastard.
Oh yeah, he is, man.
Warwick Davis, Warwick Davis, my God, that little
Oh, I didn't know
dude
it was him. I
playing
didn't
that.
know he was him who played it. That's so cool. That dude's talented, man.
Hmm.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, but he okay, so he's a magical little dude,
To be
so he's
fair, man,
automatically got powers.
it was the pot of gold in the stomach that got me, man. That was literally the thing with it. It was the pot of gold in the stomach that got me.
Oh yeah,
You know where he just
that
goes
that would
and he just slices his
yeah.
stomach open.
Yeah, that's a good one to get you. That's
Yep.
one I was thinking about where the kid swallowed the coin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah.
But yeah, that little bastard though, that little
Mm,
fucking bastard.
yep. Dude's a little bastard.
Uh,
He's creative and he's magical, and he would stomp anything below Esther, I would say.
and and all he wants is his fucking gold. You give him
Yeah.
his gold, he'll leave you alone.
Honestly, he'll even help you till you get greedy, to a degree. Unless you get greedy with him, he'll actually be quite helpful. The only time he
Mhm.
fucks with you is when you try to fuck with his gold. So,
Yeah, just that little that scene with him on the tricycle, man. The damn tricycle.
man.
Oh, but okay, so we got our first magical being on the list now.
Yeah.
So
I would say he would solo everything on that list just because of his magical powers. Because I know he
you
can
think
just
you'd
do
even do your
things
Gore
just by
police woman?
yeah. Because he could just
But I
magic
don't
something
think
to happen. I don't know. It's hard to say, innit?
yeah, you're probably right. I mean, he could do a lot of weird, fucked up shit, but I don't think he's S. I think he'd go high A, like above her on A. I don't think he's quite powerful enough to put up in the S's with some of the other contenders that we do have for that slot.
That's
He'd
interesting.
get
I think it depends on who he's against. I think it depends on like because his powers are basically limitless, if that makes sense. I've never seen him limited in any kind of way.
well, I mean, we can put him up there for now, and if that list gets too big, we can drop him down to A.
Yeah,
How about that?
let's go with that. That
If
sounds
he
totally fair.
is, for whatever reason, if he is at the end of the S list anyway.
Yep, that sounds
But yeah, but
totally
he is
fair
our
to me.
first magical guy,
Yeah.
so
I think like the magic kind of for me, like if it wasn't for the magic, he would obviously not be anywhere near S tier, but his magic makes him terrifying. But to be fair, he's only jealous,
uh,
man. For me, it was like Leprechaun in the Hood, man. That shit was fucking hilarious.
mhm. Alright. I'm gonna go off the beaten path here just a little bit with you and not give you one you put on there right this second.
Go for it.
I'm gonna give you Pennywise, the
Pennywise.
dancing clown.
We're going for it. I've never seen it, so I can't tell you anything about it or know anything about it.
You ain't read the books?
Nope, not seen the movies, not read the books, not anything.
Well, Pennywise the dancing clown is an intergalactic being that's the exact opposite of the creator being in the Stephen King universe for that book. It's the
Okay.
evil part of that,
Yeah,
to where he is also a supernatural being, has no form that people can actually perceive naturally. Technically, it's a female, it's not actually a man. It just takes the form of a male clown because that's how it lures children, which it likes to eat into the sewers or wherever to where it can eat them, and it uses fear as a seasoning method for the meat of the people it eats.
makes
So
sense.
that's why it likes to scare people.
Hmm.
And it's like sleeps and eats in cycles 20 some odd years. So uh, there's a long time of dormant time, and then there's a brief period to where it just comes back, wakes up, and eats people, and then goes back to sleep and
How many
everything.
kids does it eat generally before it's full, or like satiated, should I say?
They don't they don't give it a number for that. It's over a course of days,
Oh, okay, I got you. So as
realistically.
many as it can get in between a time frame,
Mm.
basically.
Yeah, and, its powers are limitless as well.
Hmm.
It can take the form of anything it wants to, especially if it knows you're afraid of it.
Yeah,
So, if you're afraid of anything, that's what it's gonna appear to, and it's basically the concept of fear in a physical embodiment. It's basically what Pennywise is.
that means it's probably going to be. Obviously, it's going here, like going like there, obviously. So
Mhm.
just from that description alone, it's limitless.
They,
It's formless. It can form into anything. It's literally like.
mm.
Mhm.
And to beat it all, they kill the thing by using their imaginations and making things that they, would like, one kid had an inhaler,
Mhm.
and it convinced itself with its imagination that its inhaler was battery acid and sprayed the clown in the face with it, and it
You're
worked
telling me
because the
they
kid
dream
believed
worried it.
it.
You're telling me they killed it by dream worrying it. You know, in like Freddy Krueger, is it three or
Well,
four? Like where they go into their,
th
where they become like heroes in their dreams type shit.
they had to make it to where they could prove to it they had to come back when they were adults. They did not kill it when they were kids. They injured it when they were kids.
Yeah.
And then they came back as adults at the second when it was gonna do its wake up cycle again, and then they actually killed the thing
Oh, okay.
because they proved to it they weren't afraid of it. If you're not afraid of that clown in any way, it has no power over you. It can't
I see.
it's actually afraid of you if you are not afraid of it.
Okay, that makes sense. But it wouldn't appear as a clown if they were adults. It would appear as what they're actually scared of. If that makes sense.
It continued to use the clown appearance with them because it knew they knew who it was,
Yeah, that makes sense.
if that makes sense. That's the only reason.
Yeah. Okay,
Like,
makes
you
sense.
know who I am, and I know you know who I am.
So like, I'm guessing they won for plot armor. I wouldn't say they won because they won. I'd say there was more plot armor than it was them winning, basically.
Yeah. Because in all reality, I couldn't have beat that thing. I'm
No,
afraid of something, even if I'm not aware of it. I'm afraid
exactly.
of something, and I
Everyone's scared of
lost
something.
it.
Like even if it's something as simple like spiders or something like that, man, or even if it's like,
Ironically, that's the form it took in the movie at the end, was a giant spider.
it's interesting. But yeah, like even if you're afraid of spiders or like people are afraid of death as well. Like it could resemble pure death. Like it could show you what death really is. So
Mhm.
and everybody's scared of something.
And even long after that, in another, Stephen King novel on down the road, there's a sign that by a sewer grate that says "Pennywise lives,"
Oh shit, that's cool.
suggesting that they didn't kill it in the It novel.
No, I don't think they
They
would.
didn't.
I think it's more of a it's funny when it's like he let them win because he was just like, you know what, you prove to me that like I can't scare you anymore, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to move somewhere else and feast on other things or beings or kids or wherever I'm going to feast on.
Mhm. But yeah, that clown right there, though, it single-handedly, at least in my country, really, really started up the chlorophobia stuff, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
He
my
was
other
a
half
big
is like
culprit, man.
scared of clowns, man, so I should never ever want to watch it.
Something about the uncanny valley with clowns, that people and they're being afraid of it, where they just
Yeah.
seem human-like except for where they're not.
I don't know. I think it's just the painted face and everything. It kind of gives that like an uneasy effect, I guess. I don't know. It's something about it. I don't
But
know.
yeah,
I've never been afraid of clowns, so I can't tell you either here nor there. So.
I'm not either. But
Obviously, we both love
I guess
Captain
we
Spaulding, so obviously we're never afraid of clowns. Unlike that kid
yeah, we
who
got
was in that car with
we
his
have a
mum,
few
who
clowns. We
anyways.
have a few clowns still to go,
Yep, that's true.
at least one.
But yeah, let's go. We're going back to me. So let us go, Chucky. Where are we going to place Mr. Chucky?
Chucky!
Yeah.
Charles Lee Ray. I will never whenever they make a movie where well, actually, they have done it. When they replaced Brad Dourif with Mark Hamill as Chucky, I don't know if I don't know I did not watch that movie. Did you watch the movie where it wasn't Brad doing Chucky?
No, which one's that? I know they did the series recently. I haven't seen the series either.
It might have been the most recent movie, or it's in the series, I'm not sure which, but Brad is no long Brad Dourif was not Chucky
That's interesting.
anymore.
We should have watched it. We should probably watch it at some point and just like see what it's like. It could be okay, you know. Mark
Yeah.
Hamill's an
We
amazing voice actor, so you never know.
mhm. It's just change. I don't like change, but I
I
know
know.
change has to happen, but I don't like
Yeah.
change.
To be fair, though, we both love like Mark Hamill's Joker, so it could stand to
Well,
reason. We
he
might
might
love
be
his
a very
Chucky.
good but as
Mm.
far as threatening goes, they've proven time and time again with that goddamn little thing, you can just drop kick that thing across the room. It might get back up and come after you, but you can manipulate that little bastard to where he can't do much. You can put him in a you can put him in a goddamn cat crate and throw him in the ocean.
I mean, you can do that, but you ain't gonna stop him. He's gonna come back for you. It doesn't matter how long it takes. He's gonna come back for you.
It depends on which part of the lore you go with. If you go with the part of the lore that where he's only got so many days to get out of that body before it becomes human in that body, and you throw him in the deep water in a cat crate, he's just going to drown when he comes to that point in time. He
Ah,
ain't gonna
that's
come
true.
back for you then,
That's true. I mean, I guess most of the law is generally around that he needs to get his body back in a certain period of time in order for him to not be in
or
that,
a body.
or a body to not be in adult anymore. So,
Ge- yeah, generally it's the first person he reveals who he is to is who he has to get the
yeah,
body. That's the voodoo rules that he's under with that.
that isn't true in in Seed of Chucky or Bride of Chucky because he reveals himself to his other half
They
who he broke up with. I forgot her name for the life of me, mate, but
they dropped the lore around that point. It was the first 3 movies that it was that way because of him revealing himself to Andy first, then the kid at the army thing, and
yeah,
then, stuff like that. I mean,
that's true. I mean, like for
well,
me,
Andy, and then that kid.
yeah. I mean, for me, in terms of like where I would put Chucky, I would put him in S tier just because he's so persistent, but because he's so easy to get rid of as well. Because you can just quite easily, because he's so tiny, you can like if you know who he is and you know what he does, you kick the knife out of his hand and you just pick him up, basically, and he can't really stop you at that point.
Or just have a very destructive dog bigger than he is.
That is very true. To be fair, does that mean he goes into D tier technically? Because he's supernatural, but he's more like he did it to
He
himself rather than being truly supernatural.
his supernatural is a life hack. It's not a augment of any kind like Pennywise or Leprechaun.
No, I'd probably put him in D tier just because I think even John Kramer could beat him. To be fair, even as a cancer patient, personally.
Yeah, probably. I mean, granted that little bastard would be faster than him, but John could probably talk circles around the guy to where he'd want to sit down and listen to John. You know what I'm saying?
You might agree with his
I mean,
ideologies, man. You never know.
so that's pretty bad. We got another supernatural one, another classic in the hole. Another classic
We
in the
do.
hole.
It's going to be the way in it.
Okay. So, let's see here. The black and white one you got there with looks like 2 women above, yeah,
Oh,
top
that one.
row.
Yeah, Martyrs.
That one.
Have you ever heard of Martyrs? I'm sure most people
I
who
haven't. That's
are
why I'm
into
wanting you to
horror have.
talk about it.
Okay. So Mars, it starts off as a creature movie, as a monster chasing you around a house type movie. And then about halfway through, that ends, and it turns out, so there's like two women. You can see on the cover, right? There's two women. One of them has a delusion. She's mentally insane due to going through the thing we see at the end of the movie, where she's tortured to a point where they need her to look for something, which I'll get into. But she has that delusion, and she has a monster chasing her around the house that's only in her head, and only she can see it. But she thinks it's so real that say if it cuts her, she cuts herself. So like it happens to her, but it doesn't happen to her. If that makes sense. And
So,
and then her friend comes with her, who helped rest, not help, well, who she was best friends with all of her life, and she's with her in the same house that they're chasing her around. And eventually, like she dies, like that one woman dies who's got that psychological delusion. She dies towards the middle way of the movie, and it turns out that thing that she said that happened to her, that everybody said she was psycho for believing, is actually real. And the people and the people who own that house, come into the house and take the woman who survived, the one who was a friend, down into the basement, and they torture her and they beat her, and eventually, over what I imagine is years, they skin her, and but they keep her alive the whole time. They torture to the point where she's so mentally broken that she can finally see if heaven is real. And that's what they're wanting to know. They're wanting to see if God is real, if there is an afterlife. So they torture these women, and it's not just her. They torture multiple women in order to see if God is real, to see if there is an afterlife, to see if there is something beyond. But as she tells the one woman, or the one company, what happens, the main head woman who she told kills herself at the end of the movie, because whatever she said, it's either good or bad, but we don't know. So yeah, the whole thing wasn't vain. The whole thing means the whole company's gonna have to do this over again because they still don't know. So it's got like a
mm,
never-ending cycle type shit. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I don't know.
it does. It makes sense to me.
Mhm.
I couldn't give you what my summarization of it is because I'd want to see it, but I get what you're putting down with it. It's more of a if I'm under just do it this way. Basically, they're wanting to know about whether there's an afterlife, and before the person died, they said something they didn't understand what the person said, so they have to redo it again because they didn't get their exact answer, whether it was a yes or a no.
No, they did, but the person who got the answer killed herself because she got the answer she wanted, so she made her choice. That makes sense.
Oh, I get you. But
Yeah,
so it's still to the people that wanted the other people would say,
yeah,
well, we got to do it
exactly.
again now. We
But
don't
like
know.
Martyrs is known as one of the most fucked up movies ever made, just because of the nothing is pulled out of that movie. Nothing is like off screen. Nothing in that movie is ever like you don't nothing is ever off screen. You see everything because you even find a previous victim um who they try to save, who has a mask over her head that has nails driven into her skull that she has to pull out, and you know it's bloody, it's gory, it's extremely fucked up. It's a hard watch, should I say. It's not something that I would recommend if you're not into really extreme gore movies. It's a cult classic, but it's
Mm.
French. It's like French speaking, and it's subtitled, but it's very good.
Seems like a lot of foreign movies in the horror genre are pretty good like that, as far as I get,
Hmm.
because they get by a lot of the censoring that at least my country has. I don't know how bad you are over there with
A,
that, but
a lot of ours get censored as well, but not as bad as you guys, I don't think.
yeah, we get by with a little bit more, but we don't get by with some of what you're saying there. It has to be pretty up there over
Yeah,
here for that would be pushing the envelope here a little bit.
no, Martyrs is like I don't know, it's a very good gore film. It's like a film that if you're really into the scene, like I said, like it's something that it's a must watch. It's like an August Underground, or it's a Serbian film, or films that are so fucked up that people say you should never watch them, but they are very good movies just for what they are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, where do they fall on the list?
There's no powers involved. They are normal. They are people who get tortured. The company is a human company. They use big people and they torture, and they use their money, their wealth, their power to do what they do. They're like the Illuminati to that world, should we say?
Okay. Then are they above the Red Room because there's more of them?
Yeah, I would say so. I would say they would get rid of Spaulding. They would get rid of Red Room. They would like go above Kramer and Chucky, obviously. Um,
Or would they go all the way up to the Holocaust and be ahead of it? Because of
possibly.
just because of the money backing and just the more organized way of doing it.
Well,
I
to
mean,
be fair, they
it's a
would never
bad
go.
thing.
They would never get near anything like what kind of a Holocaust was going to. Like they would never need to. That makes sense. They only
Mhm.
target. They target not. I don't want to say the worthless, but they target the worthless. If that makes sense. For them, what are worthless? They target
Okay, so
those
they
who
might
were
still
who are vulnerable, who nobody will miss, who don't have families, and
okay, well, that still probably knocks them down into either below Holocaust or right above Red Room then, right?
yeah, I'd probably put them next to kind of a Holocaust. To be fair,
Okay.
I think that's a good way to
Hey,
put
we
them.
got a pretty even chart right now.
Yeah,
Pretty
we do.
even chart.
Yep.
All right, where are we going next there, sir? Where are we going next?
I don't know. We got a whole bunch of ones we can go into. Let's go into Hellraiser, man. Why not? Let's go into Pinhead.
Oh, I can't remember his name, and
Did
I
you?
feel bad for it.
I'm gonna search it just because I can. Elliot Spencer. There we go.
Not not Elliot Spencer, not that part, the guy that played him. Doug Bradley.
Oh yeah,
Doug Bradley.
yeah.
God damn. I've never had heard when it comes to horror movie characters, he has the most commanding, get your attention, I am the big badass boss of this group voice of any of these people on this list that I think I've ever heard.
I agree.
And we ain't even got through the rest of them yet. But the point is, he has the presence
Hmm.
of of yes, he's the one. Everything follows my orders. It's that's just the way it is. Um, the Lament configuration, even if you go with the only movies that are part of Clive Barker's original telling, which is, the first 3, that's the only one Clive claims any, uh, what's the word for it, involvement in. After that, he kind of lost his interest because it was going away from what his envisionment was with the series.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So by the time 4 and on came, he was kind of not part of it.
4 was really
But
good though. I did like the toy maker scene. That was actually very cool.
mhm,
So,
yeah, that was pretty neat.
mhm.
I will admit that. I mean, he was still probably I think he still had overseeing on 4, but he wasn't it wasn't based off of his stuff realistically anymore at that point. It was kinda starting to branch into its own world then.
Yeah.
But that's
So
what my
like, what
point
kind of
is.
powers? Where would you What would you say his powers are? As such.
His powers, though, he can only I mean, just bear with me on saying it. He has unlimited ability in terms of using implements that don't exist at the current. He can materialize anything to hurt you,
Yeah,
it would appear. But if we wanna be very critical about it, we've only really ever seen him himself use the chains.
that's
He's
true.
never used another weapon
He's got
besides the chains
he's got his scythe, his little sickle.
on his belt.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I don't think he's ever pulled it and used it, has he?
yeah. In 4, he I don't know if he used it, but he definitely pulled it out. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
At least in one of them, I know he
You
did
may
for sure. So
Now, I do know that he did pull a pin out of his head with part of his brain the maggot attached to
yeah,
it and
that
stuff
was
like
3,
that,
wasn't it? That was like Hell on Earth, wasn't it?
but
Yeah,
yeah.
that was in the
But
church. I love that scene. That scene's amazing.
yeah, but still, if you can be I mean, here's the problem with Pinhead. He's supernatural, he has a lot of power, but you have to be able to feel pain for him to be, attracted to you in some way.
No, you just have to
So
solve
even though
the lament configuration.
yeah, but I'm saying you can do that. You're right about that, but let's say if Terminator solved the lament configuration, he isn't gonna be able to kill the Terminator.
He can do.
He
He,
could dismantle it, yes,
he
but
destroyed that robot in 4, though. You know, when the robot solved the cube, he exploded instantly.
well, yeah, I guess it did.
So
I guess that would count.
yep.
That would count.
So he would like dismantle Terminator in one shot, basically.
He'd probably destroy it the same way.
Yeah.
Unless that was a very, very poorly designed robot,
It was
which
in the
I
future.
don't
It
know.
was many, many, many way past the technology of Skynet.
But I don't know if he goes just because of the stuff we've seen him do. I
I
mean,
mean,
he is the leader, but his minions do a lot. Let's just be realistic. His minions do a good majority of his stuff for him.
that's
But
true.
that's the point.
Yeah. To be fair, he has his dogs as well. In is it 4? His dogs were cute. I mean, they were like fucked up, but they were like
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, as sad as this is to say, yes, he can kill people, but he doesn't do a lot as far as himself goes.
he's not meant to. He's just meant to be the. He's what happened when you
He's
opened the lament configuration. He's not meant to be like a world dominating bad. He is a. If you're looking for this pleasure, which I know you are, this is where I am. This is where to find me. If you open this box, you've opened
yeah,
hell. So
which is exactly what his title is. He is the hell priest, so
yeah,
he's literally preaching the gospel of hell, while his other gash members are doing what they do
yeah. They're all like
usually,
basically
unless
once you,
he is direct.
yeah. Like
But
once you open that box, no matter who you are, so when Kirsty opens it, when Frank opens it, when I forgot her name opens it, you know, the one who got with Frank, who was with Kirsty's dad.
mhm,
When she opens it,
yeah,
like they all go to hell, apart from Kirsty, obviously. But yeah, Kirsty makes
yeah,
deals
because when
makes deals to get out of it. So
yeah, and it was a deal. It was a deal that he wanted, that he was intrigued by,
yep,
because Frank is the only one that ever, and up to that point, that ever escaped from him, and that was an interesting prospect to the priest, was to reclaim that soul.
yeah. So for what I'm proposing is that every character open the lament configuration.
Okay, if every character's open the lament configuration, um, he would definitely probably be still in S tier,
Yep.
just because if we go by threat, he's that way. But I don't know if he is above Pennywise
No, I'd put him in the middle. I think
at this
that's a
point.
very good place for him.
Because, I mean, yes, he is incredibly powerful, but he has rules, and he plays by his rules far more strictly than even Kramer does.
Yeah, he does. He has to. It's his whole. He's bound by him, if that makes sense. He's very much a. He's a force of nature in his own way. He's that force of
Mhm,
nature that's bound to pleasure and pain together, and you know he's like that culmination of fantasy and pain and pleasure and destructiveness and
mhm.
all of that stuff. So the only time where he
Alright,
doesn't follow his lament configuration is when he does Hell on Earth and he slaughters everybody. So
mhm. Which is because he's separated from Elliot Spencer at that point, where they're 2 separate entities at
yeah,
that point in time. That's
yeah. It's
his
only
humanity is not there.
yeah, it's only when they manage to get him back into the lament configuration at the end is when he's bound by that again. So is what I'm assuming anyway. At the end of the
Yeah, and, well, him and Elliot recombine with each other, 'cause I guess they're trying to say that without at least the humanity that Spencer has, that the demon that is the Hell Priest is just a rogue force of chaos that doesn't have any inhibitions of
yeah,
any kind.
yeah, I would say like without the humanity, which all Cenobites have their humanity. I guess if all the Cenobites got their humanity taken from them, they'd become more like what the Hell Priest became in that like 3. So you are right.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
So,
back to you.
let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Back to me. Let's throw the one beside the one to the right of Jason.
That one.
Fifth one on, that's Michael.
Oh, shit, sorry. Oh, inside. Yeah, yeah. My bad. Sorry, they're really tiny. I can't see which one's which.
I know.
It's inside. This one's my one. Like one of mine, should I say. Inside
Mhm.
is depending on how you view it, I would say one of the most brutal films America's ever made. in terms of its gore scene and its underground scene. And so, Inside is exactly what you think it's about. Probably. What do you think of when you think of Inside? Like ripping something
I'm
open
gonna
to
assume,
get inside of something, right?
yeah.
What do you think is going inside for? What do you think's happening?
Well, when I think about what you're talking about and what it's saying, I'm gonna think about people wearing people's suits.
Nah, that's more Hannibal than what I'm thinking. So Inside is
Okay.
a very fucked up movie that is about there is a woman who's pregnant and
Oh,
she's been pregnant for a bunch of weeks, months, whatever you want to call it. She's very close to giving birth, and the woman breaks into a house who recently lost her baby, and she wants a new baby. So she wants to go
makes
inside
a new baby.
of this lady to take her baby. And I don't mean waiting for her. I mean, like, literally, like,
I
trying to
know what
slice
you're
into
talking
her. Like, yeah, you know what I mean.
let's just say cesarean, be done with
It's not a cesarean. It's a way more fucked up
it. We
version
can
than a
say
cesarean.
that. It's a horror movie, sorry.
Yeah,
The
it's
unsurvivable kind for everybody involved.
yes.
Um, go ahead, sorry.
But that is the premise. That is the basic. That is the basic premise without giving anything more away about the movie. Like I know I did for Martyrs. I know I did say basically most of what Martyrs is about, but you have to with that movie. You can't go half-hearted and not know because you won't know what it's about if I don't go that detailed into Mars. But with
So this one
this one is that like is that
basically
yeah,
extreme postpartum depression type shit.
yes,
Just the other way around.
hmm
Yeah.
yep. So she wants a kid. She takes it by any means necessary. Should we? Well, yeah, I
Okay.
wouldn't say there's no supernaturalness here. This is just purely
Evil,
um
I guess.
yeah, pure evil. Pure, the most evil thing imaginable for a parent or woman, man. It doesn't matter at this point, man. Just the most evilest thing you can imagine, but still being human.
Mhm.
Still with something that could
So
happen that, like, you can't imagine happening, but it could happen, if that makes sense.
mhm. So does that mean since it's a one from what I'm getting from your premise, it's a one-person thing, it's more of an
Yep,
insanity case than it is
yep,
anything else,
pretty much.
then does that mean it's below Spalding?
Um, it depends. Are we classing Spaulding as all of the family, or we're classing him just as Spaulding?
At the moment, we're gonna obviously we've mentioned the others, yes, but we're gonna class them as just Spalding, but it sounds like now they might not show it in the movie you're talking about. They if this would have worked, this would have probably been a one and done deal. It wouldn't have happened probably if let's say if this would work the way that it was planned by the other character to do, if the child, you get the child that survives, all that, this
Yeah,
probably would have been a one and done.
yeah,
Spalding's never a one and done. It's a serial case with him.
yeah. He's the serial killer. That much is obvious. Just because he lured people into the house, and obviously at the very beginning, he's the one who gave them the
Mm.
directions to get there, basically. So yeah, I would definitely put. I was going to put it into D tier just because it's a one and done and it's a insanity case.
Oh, okay.
And that's
I
what I
was
was
trying
going
to
to
give
put
you a
it.
little bit more than that, but that's
No, it's
you
a
can find it.
movie I wouldn't
Is it below
recommend watching
Chucky,
if you
though?
have a light
Oh,
stick,
yeah,
honestly.
I guess it would be below Chucky because everything above that's chronic cases of something.
Yep. Inside,
'Cause it
while being the most fucked up, is the bottom of our list just for that one reason. Because it's a one and done.
yeah, just because it could be a one and done. Yeah.
hmm Like if he was doing this by
Alright.
pure fucked upness, like Inside would probably close to number one. So
Well, I mean, if we were doing this by pure fucked up, most of your list would be at the top anyway. I mean, let's just be
yeah,
real.
that's true.
I only got one that would classify as being up in the top of the fucked up at this point, and it hasn't really been brought up yet.
I guess we will get there. So let's see, where should we go next? Yeah, I totally forgot what that one even is. What's the one in green? Do you remember which one it is? I'm gonna look at it now. Hold on. Oh, it's
Uh,
it's Alien.
it
Never mind.
was
It's Alien. Never mind. Is it? No.
Aliens at the bottom.
Oh no, yeah, it's never mind. And there's another green one that I don't see.
It's one you
Uh,
picked. I can tell you that much, guy.
is it one that I picked? Oh, it's the
Yeah,
Fly.
you
That's
had
it.
to guess.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Oh,
the
that's the
Fly.
fly.
Yes, let's go with the
Okay.
Fly. I guess I'm
I
describing
don't
that
know
one then.
anything about. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's the sad thing. I don't know anything about the fly. with outside of Jeff Goldblum playing the character.
Yep. So basically, The
That's
Fly is exactly what you can imagine. It's about a dude who eventually turns into a mutated fly, but done in the 80s gore style. If you know what the 80s gore horror style is like, it's done in that exact
it's
way. So
a lot of body horror.
yeah, it's a lot of body horror basically. But he takes on everything of a fly. So he gets the vision, he gets the way they eat, he gets how they are, he gets wings. Eventually, he literally turns into like a massive fly. If that makes sense. It doesn't sound as fucked up when I talk about it, but if you ever watched it, you would think differently. Just for how it's done, it's done
Well,
in so like the effects are done like magnificently.
yeah, I mean, even though I haven't seen it, I do know that it's pretty much highly praised for the transformation scenes and how badly grotesque that they are.
Yeah, they're really great.
Uh,
I would put them above some of the like Japanese horror films I've seen. They are very very well done. I would say.
yeah. I mean, I do know at least I know the liner notes about, dude turns into fly, the scenes are really gruesome when all that's going on, but I don't know the plot or the, synopsis of the movie or what goes on in it or anything like that. I just know the things that people would
It's just about people
hopefully know
like
about it.
it's about people that he basically knew and loved, and they see his transformation and they see how he changes because we see him go through it all. So we go from normal human into the cravings, into the changes, into we see him go through each stage of it. If that makes sense.
Mm,
So we see it from the infection to exactly what happens.
mhm.
So it's all like that. But by the end, but by the end, he's a grotesque fly, basically. I don't know how that would class in terms of like power or anything like that. I don't know
Well,
whether it even would. So
I mean, if he got any insectoid strength
yeah, he
enhancers, it
does.
would, but,
He's got insectoid strength. Like I said, everything from being that. So
so that would mean that he'd at least be an A somewhere,
yeah, I would say so.
because
I'd
if
say
he
that's pretty
wanted to
fair.
come after you, it would be very difficult to get away from him unless you had some of the supernatural power.
Yep, I'll put him below Terminator.
But,
I think that's
yeah,
very fair.
because I mean, all the Terminator has to do is just I mean, I'm not sure, but I would imagine all he'd have to do is just open fire with a machine gun on him, and that might be all he'd have to do.
Yep, basically.
But, yeah. Granted, that's all any of these people would have to do,
Yep.
but Terminator would be like what we have there, the most capable of putting him down in a
I would argue Spaulding could do it
easy
too. I
manner.
would argue Spaulding would win out of that as well, but
I don't know if Spaulding would be able to mentally handle what he was seeing without thinking of a way he could use it to his advantage.
you might get turned on by it as well. You never know. I know how his mind works.
Fucking clowns, man.
Yeah, man.
Fucking clowns.
Don't you think we're fucking funny, as he says?
Yeah.
But yeah, back to you,
All
Keith.
right. Since you gave one that I didn't know, I'll just go ahead and take one out of my own playbook here a little bit, and I'm gonna go into the Crypt Keeper.
Okay. Which one's the Crypt
The,
Keeper?
the Crypt Keeper's by Ghostface.
Oh yeah, no, everyone that's him. Yeah, I got him. Yeah.
The Crypt Keeper was an HBO show series, TV series character, and a comic book character at one point for a specific particular brand of comic. His whole job is Goosebumps, the book series for adults.
Oh, that's cool.
He is in a dilapidated mansion. He opens a book. He tells a story in the book about some things that happened that wound up being a horror story that are pretty graphic and gruesome because it's on HBO, which would over here is a premium network that you have to pay a subscription to so they can afford to put gratuitous stuff on there. And
Yeah, makes sense.
it's just like he's the storyteller. So he's telling all these things that are going on.
Yeah.
So he is a cult classic kind of horror dude, and he has a few movies to his credit as well.
Hmm.
Um, to where he's told those stories in as a movie. But in terms of how dangerous that little dude is, he is potentially below even your inside unless you just want to put him up below Chucky
Nah, it's
because
okay. He can go though. That's fine.
I mean he can't die. He has been shown in his series that he's had all kinds of gag shit happen to him, so he is literally unkillable.
Doesn't that put him above Chucky?
But
Technically.
but but he is also no real threat either to anyone. He's
Yeah,
just a storyteller that
but if he can't die, like that means that he's above most humans on that list, I would say.
yeah. Yeah, he yeah, he's just a little storyteller dude. That's the best way to put it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why he can't die is because he's the host of the show.
He's the narrator, man. The narrator never dies, no matter what. So
Yeah. I
that's
just
how
had to
this
put
shit
him in
goes.
there because it's nice to see that little dude every now and then. I used to
No,
have
it's
all the box sets of that shit.
that's so cool. Yeah, okay. Let's go through. Let's go into Hostel, man. Fuck it, one.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Hostel movies? Do you know what they're about?
I have not seen the Hostel movies, but I'm not even gonna say I know what they're about because I might be thinking of the wrong movie. So go ahead and tell me, and I'll tell you if that's what I was thinking or not
Okay,
when you're done.
there's a hostel. I think it's in Russia or some kind of like place that's in like Eastern Europe somewhere. That's out of the way.
Mhm.
It could be Poland or something like that. I don't know. I think it's fuck no, it's somewhere like that. And the rich basically pay to do whatever they want to somebody. So if they want to kill somebody or do something to somebody, so the hostel has to
Mhm.
find people who are going to get killed or tortured or that kind of way.
Oh,
So the movie centers around a group of people on holiday who are American. I think they're American, but they're like, they are English or they speak English. Listen,
mhm.
and it shows how they get captured by this underground group of rich people who want to torture, and we see how they get tortured, how they die if they escape, and but it was the thing alongside Saw that made torture porn a massive part of the genre. It's what made the name of torture porn.
Mhm.
So it's a classic
Yeah, so
in its own right.
so I knew what a hostel was, and my thought of what a hostel was did match up with what that is. I mean, because I know a hostel is also a place where, it's an
Yeah, the hostel
establishment.
is where they were staying. So like the hostel is literally like they stay in a hostel, and the hostel is owned by that rich group of people who take people. So that makes
Now the
sense.
premise I didn't know, but I did at least know what the term meant, say that
Yep.
way. But that being the case, that puts it
Where Martyrs is, because it's a rich cabal of
yeah,
people. So
yeah, yeah, it'd have to.
hmm I would say so. I would say that's a really fair place to put a hostel because they could like obliterate everything below it. I would say.
Alright, let's see here. I guess I'm going to go ahead and knock off good old Willie Afton, which is Spring Bonnie down there, the green rabbit,
Ah,
beside
yeah,
Freddy.
yeah. So
We've talked about him recently, and I put him in here specifically because I wanted to throw back to that from before, but,
yeah.
um, basically, William Afton, Five Nights at Freddy's, the, actual movie. It's a child's horror movie, yes, 'cause it's PG-13 horror, but he is an iconic character to those things, and he does fall in down there in the D's because he's at this moment, he's human.
Yep.
He's not undead yet because that happens later.
Okay.
Because that version you're seeing right there, that's him alive, so he's not been, uh, spring locked yet.
hmm
The only saving grace to him as a thing is he is played by Matthew Lillard, which is the guy that played the Ghostface killer and the guy that played Shaggy in Scooby Doo.
Damn, that's so cool. That's such a cool thing to have on your resume.
So he went from Ghostface to Shaggy to Killer Rabbit.
That's so cool, man.
He even does the knife thing in the movie that Ghostface does, where he wipes the blood off the knife with his
Mhm.
fingers.
Yeah,
He even does that as Springtrap as a throwback to the Scream movies.
that is so cool, man. That's a cool little
But
throwback
yeah,
right there.
yeah. So,
But considering he's not
but
supernatural yet, I think like D is perfectly fair.
yeah, I mean, he's a robotics engineer, so but he doesn't use his robotics to do his killing for him. He usually just uses that there knife.
Yep.
So
So he's not even like John Kramer, where John Kramer uses his like expertise to like get ahead. He doesn't Batman his
right,
shit. He literally uses a knife. So
yeah. So yeah, I'm all right with him being down there below the Crypt Keeper because he couldn't kill the Crypt Keeper.
He couldn't
Everybody
kill
else
the
on this list
cookie.
we killed.
Well, yeah, he's unkillable, obviously, but oh goddamn. I don't even know, man. Let's go for Ghostface, man. Why not? Let's go for the Scream
Let's
franchise.
just let's just let's just keep talking about Matthew Lillard for a little bit, okay?
Yeah, we may as well.
Okay. Now, the problem with Ghostface, when you talk about Ghostface, there's several versions of him and several people that have portrayed him even in the continuity of the series.
Yeah,
Because most of the time, people that play him die, and then it's someone else the next time.
yeah. I've only ever seen the first one, so I don't know. Besides
Mhm,
that, and it's been a long time, so
mhm. But since he is, once again, just a human,
yeah. But
psychopathic dude with a knife,
yeah, what's the premise though? Is there any backstory to him? Is there like anything that we need to know?
there's not really a lot of backstory. It's just an insane dude that's part of a school system that runs around and terrorizes people, and he's the calls coming from in the house guy. You know the
Yeah, I
line.
know. Yeah, he's the one who like inspired that '90s or whatever fucking thing. You know, the What's Up thing.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Yeah,
Yes.
that did.
I mean, he's just a goofy fucking dude that I mean,
Yeah.
yes, there's a lot to say about but that's where the problem with him
Mm,
comes in is that there's so many different people that's been him,
yeah. I don't
but
know.
the Matthew Lillard one, that one, it was played by 2 people in the same movie, 2 different characters were Ghostface in that movie.
Oh shit, really? That's cool.
So, I mean, it's not even
Yeah. So what?
basically, his costume is the cheap, I can't say that. I
The
can't
cheap
say
what?
that.
The cheap what?
I'm not go no.
Okay.
Uh, let's just say his costume lives on the street corners, let's say that,
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you
of the horror movie villains we have on the list today.
mean. Yeah. I would still put him in Caesar. I think I'd put him like between Spalding and Redrum. I think that's fair. I don't know. Where would you put him?
I mean, he is probably more capable than Spaulding because it took him forever to figure out, who he was,
Yeah, because I'm.
especially when there were 2 different people playing him at that movie because it was like, "Well, I think it's this guy. Well, it can't be that guy because he's there and then the thing's over there, so it can't be him."
Yeah.
Um, so they did that whole thing.
That's true. I mean, to be fair, Spalding just doesn't give a fuck. Like he's just
Wow.
you know, it's just he doesn't. He's gonna kill you. What does it matter to him if you see him or not? I
Mhm,
guess in terms of like Ghostface, he wants to like not be caught, so he does have that going for him. I guess. No, he tries to outsmart it rather than like just be too open with it.
mhm.
But yeah, I think like C is good for like like a more like comedy horror villain. I think that's totally fair. That's what I think Scream is. Scream is way more comedy horror than it is horror. I would say.
To me, it is, yes. Now some people might be afraid of that thing, but let's just be
Yeah.
real, it's one of the most popular Halloween costumes to this day, I
I see
mean
kids wearing that all the time, man. Even now, man, it's so old. Those kids don't even know what it
Yeah,
is. They just think it looks cool for whatever reason.
mhm,
But yeah, back to you, I think.
mhm.
So,
Back to me.
hmm
Well, I am going to give you that one beside Alien,
Oh,
the one near the,
grotesque. Yeah, it's a Japanese horror movie, believe it or not. Just judging from half of my list, man.
oh, who'd have thunk it?
I know, right?
A foreign a foreign to both of us horror movie.
Yeah, but yeah, let's see. Grotesque is it's quite grotesque, as you can imagine from the title. But let's see. Basic
Never
premise.
would believe.
There is a doctor, well, an ex-surgeon, should I say, who snaps in his own way and kidnaps a couple of people. Not the first people he's ever kidnapped, but kidnaps a couple of people and takes them and makes them performing games or things in order for him to not kill them. In order to, like, they might lose some limbs, they might do something, and like he makes them perform against each other in order to get his satisfaction from it, basically. So like it can either
Mm,
be sexual or it can be more dangerous, or it's that kind of a way. And then when they get seriously hurt, like or like this, or like he says, like you've won, or that kind of way, and he offers to repair your wound as a nice person does, and like says like I'll help you get better, and he fixes them, and he like repairs an arm because I think one of them gets the arm cut off at some point, and They and they go through all of those steps, and they'll be like, "Yes, once you're feeling better, I will release you." And they begin to get to know the Doctor. They begin to see him as like a more, he's still deranged, but more of a nice person. Then they wake up one day.
Stockholm.
Then they wake up one day, and they're back in that game again because they're better now. You know, he fixed them so he can play with them
Oh,
again, and they have to figure out how to escape. So.
damn.
So
So that's just
he's somebody who will fuck you up, then repair you, and then make you get even more fucked up again. So like
mm,
the ending scene, like I don't want to spoil how it ends, but like the ending Gore is where he attaches the dude's intestines to a hook, and it's like if you can get to this place to release the girl from this trap, she'll be set free. And so he has to pull his own intestines out of his stomach in order to go save her. So,
mm.
anyways,
Well, unfortunately, it still sounds like since we're dealing with humanity and just stuff like that, it's pretty much damned to the B through D tier somewhere, though, ain't it?
yep. But where would you put him? Because he's very much like a, not I wouldn't say quite Jigsaw level, but in the, in that same thing where he's very cunning. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't even have to kill his victims. He can save them from the brink of death because he's a doctor. So I think the doctor part makes it more
Yeah.
fucked up. I would say. I think it's the
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It kind of does. It kind of puts him up, but potentially above Ghostface, and puts him between Ghostface and Red Room to me.
yeah. I mean, like in terms of like, I guess like a whole room and Red Room would like obviously overpower him. He's like a. I think the dude who plays him very well. Like the actor who plays the Doctor is like you like
Mm,
legitimately despise him by the end of it.
hmm
But yeah. Anyways, back to me, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. We're gonna keep the
So
normal trend going.
yep. Let's see. Let's go Alien. Why not?
The Xenomorph.
Yep. I love the Xenomorph. I love the Alien franchise. But yeah.
In terms of horror, extraterrestrial horror,
hmm At least
there's nothing scarier than something with a mouth inside its mouth. Okay,
that's true.
it has two fucking mouths.
Yep. It's cute though.
That and
It,
his that and his fucking blood is acid.
hmm
So even if you're able to do anything against the thing and you're fighting it in its normal environment, which is, let's say, if you're fighting on a spaceship, if you fight it on that, you're dead.
Yeah.
Because if you
Basically,
wound it, acid causes a lot of issues on a spaceship.
it's also highly
Uh,
intelligent.
it can
It's
learn.
yeah. It's not like a like a typical villain. It's highly intelligent. It will outsmart you. It's smarter than you are. So
Mhm. And if it ain't already, it will be before the movie's over.
yep. Well, just look at the end of the first movie, man. It goes into this escape pod with the main protagonist. Like, it's literally there
So
at the end. So, like, it's very, very smart. It's deadly, but we have seen it get killed to guns, like, during the franchise. Like, we've seen loads of them get
yeah,
killed due to guns, so,
yeah, they can't be killed by conventional means,
yes.
but not just you have to get over what it is, obviously. But we're not talking about that. We're not talking about intimidation factors here.
No.
But in
Talking
terms
pure
of just
power.
true power, it's got to be above the Fly and below the Terminator.
Terminator would swat it. Well, actually, depends how he attacks it. Because the acid blood would wreck him, I think. The acid would wreck the
Well,
Terminator.
if the Terminator's got his timeline's weapons, it's got plasma rifles,
Yeah, but I
but
mean,
those cauterize on impact.
yeah. But to be fair, it depends how
So
he deals with it, because it depends on how close the alien gets, because the alien goes by, it hides, and then it attacks when you're not expecting it.
mhm. But it's also a thing of whether or not, I mean, we're just doing semantics here, which that's fine to do for a moment, but that's regardless, providing that the alien even registers the Terminator as a
It
prey item
won't,
because it's
because the
not.
synthetics in the Alien franchise it doesn't go for. It never targets the synthetics unless it's in the way, unless it's just swatting it out of the way.
So it wouldn't even, they wouldn't fight each other except for
No,
if the Terminator wanted to shoot it.
yeah, basically unless it's provoked
So,
or it's in the way, like the alien, like the xenomorph will never target it. The T-800. So you could say they're neutral
Now,
in
yeah,
in that
they
way.
might be neutral, but would it let's just think about it this way. If they are neutral, would the xenomorph go for the
Yeah, it's alive.
girl in the court, please?
Yeah, it's alive. Anything alive is what the xenomorph goes for. It doesn't matter, like if it's human or alien or mutated, or it doesn't matter. But I believe the xenomorph would body the Tokyo Gore Police Girl just because of how powerful it is.
Well, then it can go to the top of A,
Yeah.
in all truth, but it's not gonna be able to beat any of the magical people.
No. Well, we don't expect
Well,
it
I
to.
mean,
So.
only in very, niche situations would it beat any of the magical people.
Yep.
But, okay. So, Alien is done.
Mm-hmm. We're getting down to the last ones
Has
on our list now. We're down to one,
Yeah, we
two.
are.
No, we've got 12 to go. I thought we were getting close. We're not.
No, we're not there yet. Let's go to the 3rd one on the list, number 3, number 3.
uh, oh, we're going to guinea pig. Another Japanese horror. Can you believe it? Oh my god, man! But classic Japanese horror. It's almost like I love my
Oh,
Japanese horror or some shit, man. I don't know. Can you believe it?
uh, go on.
I'm going. So, the guinea pig franchise. It's a series of things. It's a series of ways to die, basically, and like each guinea pig thing is like multiple different things of different ways you can die. So, like as you can see by that one, you can see like the surgeons taking out her eye and that type of shit, right? Like
Mhm,
that, like, but it's just a series of ways to die. It differs depending on which one you watch. Like, I'm not going to spoil anything. It's classic Japanese gore horror, basically.
mhm,
There is no one protagonist, no one villain. It's all different stories combobulated. So I wouldn't know where to put it in this tier. I wouldn't know what tier to put it in.
mhm.
So
So, it's just a random set of experiments
yes, it's
for
experiments.
each person.
Yep.
So it would be somewhere potentially between Chucky and Inside, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds fair to me. Like Guinea Pig is one of those movies when you first get into gore, you'll go into a
Mhm,
message board or a forum and people, you need to watch the Guinea Pig franchise, man. So that's some of the most fucked up things you can think of, and I mean they're not wrong. So
mhm,
because it's all experiment, it's all different things, and it's not always gory. It depends on what the experiment is. It's mostly gory, but it's not always 100%. So, anyways,
mm.
back to me, I guess. We are going to go for Mr. Freddy Krueger. Why not?
Freddy Krueger. Another one of my favorite people because of, Robert's, portrayal of that character over the years.
Yeah, Robert England was a mastermind at playing Freddy, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, and it never worked again when they tried to replace him with the other guy. It
Nope.
just did not work at all. It it did not work. But the concept behind Freddy Krueger from Wes Craven, the concept he had of having a dream demon that whatever they did to you in your sleep would affect you in the real world. It's much like that, Martyrs thing you're talking about up there in a way, if I said the name of the movie correctly.
It's,
Um, but it is kinda like that, except for instead of the person doing it and thinking the thing did it, that it's actually happening that way.
yeah.
Um, and then I mean, they even went and did some meta commentary with the Nightmare on Elm Street series near the end with the Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I don't know how far into the series you got,
I've seen
but if
I've
you at least
seen up to 8 too.
because in New Nightmare, I'm sure you probably are aware with it, to where that they made it to where the movies that they'd made in the series were actually part of the series, and then
Yeah,
the
I've seen that.
demon
Yeah, I've seen
brought out.
that.
So they even did meta commentary on their own shit there, and I mean, how do you beat that well, outside of how they've done it? You forget about him. You have to forget he exists. That's how you beat him. If you
Yeah.
don't know he exists, then
No,
he can't do anything.
he's almost like well, he's almost like the clown where you have to not be afraid of him in order for him to not be able to beat you. It's not about forgetting it, because it's about not being scared of him. Because he feeds off your fear. He feeds off your pain and your agony, and like he can only inflict damage on you if you believe he can hurt you.
Yeah. That was proven with the first movie of how he was beaten in that one.
Yep. So
But
he's very much
with
on
that,
par with it, in my opinion. I would say.
mhm,
Because I mean, there are
yeah,
Dream
he's
Warriors.
on
Like, I
par.
mean, Dream Warriors did like changed it a little bit, where they could like harness their powers and their dreams and do it that way. But how many people? It took a lot of people for them to figure it out to die. If that makes sense.
Yeah. The weakness of Freddy, unfortunately, is when he's brought into the real world. Yes, he still retains a handful of his abilities, like his somewhat superior strength, his durability, and stuff like that. But he doesn't have his magic, his dream magic that he would have, obviously, because that would make sense.
No. See,
So
at the
that
end of
being
the
said,
of the day, he is a dude who got burnt to death by the parents of kids that he did bad things to.
mhm.
So to boil him down
and
to
at the
like his
end of the
basis of his character, that would be him. So
And at the end of the day, without his dream powers, which is how he's always beaten, he has to be usually put into a situation where he's not in the dream world or something that has to happen to where you're stronger than him there or whatever.
yeah,
Since his powers only work one way, granted Pennywise's powers only work one way as well because you have to deliberately be afraid of him for it to work.
yep,
That makes them even with each other, like you
yes,
said. But I think that Pennywise edges him out because Pennywise is a cosmic being and not just a man that's become a demon.
that is true. But how would you categorize Freddy's demon though? I would say he's cosmic in his own way, because he's like he can affect anybody's dream. It's not just about he just likes kids. That's the only reason he goes for kids. If you know what I mean.
Yes, I understand. I guess the way I mean, I don't, Freddy might have this in his book of stuff that he can do. I've not really seen him do it, or if he has done it, I don't remember him doing it. Bear with me.
Hmm.
Pennywise can be in multiple places at the same time.
Yeah,
I
I know what you
don't
mean.
know if Freddy can.
Um, I believe, and don't quote me on this. I think it
Yeah,
was Dream Warriors where they were all asleep and they were all having different dreams of Freddy,
okay.
and they were bringing themselves
Well,
into each other's dreams as well when they needed them to. So I don't know, like it's been
well,
a
if that
while since I've seen it as well. So
if that's the case, then yeah, they'd probably be right about even with each other there.
I would say so,
And
but
I guess Freddy's tenacity and the fact he keeps coming back. We've not really seen Pennywise come back.
no, Freddy always
Pennywise's
comes
story is
back.
a one and done.
Even like
So he can edge out
yeah,
Pennywise then.
even like Freddy versus Jason, he still comes back, man. So
Mm,
still,
yeah, so he might be able to edge out Pennywise just because of the fact. And fun fact, when he became the movie where he actually accepted the power to become a dream demon from those three demon ghosts,
hmm
they're in front of they're in front of the temple of Morpheus of all things, which is the Greek god of nightmares.
that would make sense. I mean, that kind of like edges out his powers, right? Or explains it a little bit. So, are we putting him top S tier? That's what you're saying, like that.
Yeah, so he's got you can go as far as say he's got pseudo god powers because he's got
Yeah,
Morpheus blessed abilities.
he does. As fucked up as it is, man, imagine making somebody like that like a fucking dream demon. That's crazy. But I guess you have to put the right person in charge, because obviously, if you need a dream demon in the world to counterbalance the world, there isn't many
Yeah,
choices you can go for. So
yeah, I'm sure Morpheus probably gets something out of it.
I would imagine so. Maybe
I
we'll
would
find
imagine.
out one day. Maybe there'll be like a thing where we find out why it costs Freddy eventually.
Hmm.
That'll be a very cool
So,
thing.
all right, you gave me Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you the one beside Michael because I don't know that one.
Which one was that? Oh my god, this
Number
one.
5. Number 5. Yep.
That one. Yeah, that is August Underground. It is a found camera footage, gore horror movie. It's it's a movie where they try to film it in a way where if you would pick it up on the street and it's just a random VHS tape, you would think it was real. That's the vibe they're going for with it.
Kind of like they tried to do with the Blair Witch Project.
Yes, like that, but done in a much more low budget. It
Hmm.
doesn't always work exactly how it's meant to, but it's really fucked up and really disgusting in a lot of ways. And there's three of them. that this is the most extreme one that I put on the list. Not the most extreme that I could put on the list, but out of the ones, I would wanted at least one like found camera footage one on there, just because I think that's fair. Like August
Mhm,
Underground is, it's mostly following one guy and his friend potentially, and they torture a woman and multiple women in fact, and across 3 movies obviously, but and
mhm.
it's filmed as if it was a serial killer making a documentary about people he's killing and torturing and his life and how much of a lonely douchebag the guy is and like how much of a jackass he is, and you see him for who he is. You see him not as a you know how in most movies like it's more mysterious to see a serial killer. You see the
Mhm.
humanity behind him as much as you do the fucked upness and the craziness and everything behind it. So.
Yeah. So is this, if I'm understanding what you're saying, does that mean that this is the found footage thing? Is the found footage like the guy himself recording what he's
Yes,
doing?
yeah,
Without okay,
yes, a hand cam. So it's like he's normally just filming as if he's got the hand cam like that.
okay. That's pretty fucked up. But that's
Yep.
what most of your stuff's been, pretty
Mm-hmm.
fucked up.
This
But
one's
that still puts in the
this one's the most fucked up of the ones, maybe apart from Mars and Inside, but yeah.
mhm. And you said there's 3 of these, or all now, can you go as far as say if all 3 of them are told by the same dude's perspective, or
Yep,
is it
it's the same dude each time.
well, since this is a continual case, then he probably goes above Spalding
Yeah, I
because he's
mean,
chronicling this shit.
yeah, he's a chronic serious. He's the literal definition of a serial killer. So.
'Cause he doesn't go on the bottom because he's brazen enough to I mean, he's capable of doing things, and most people on the bottom are
Hmm.
capable, but don't do I mean, it seems like he's more, conniving or more, what's the word? Not conniving, that's not the proper word. Um, more give a f he gives less fucks than Spalding does because he's actually recording this shit for someone to find it.
Yeah, I don't know if he's specifically recording it for somebody to find it. I think he's just documenting his life in that way.
Mm,
And, like he's just more like he
well,
has a like you know how like we like using cameras and we're like recording and we're like doing stuff like
mhm.
it's kind of like that, but just done in a more truly fucked up way.
But let's just go as far as to say he is doing something that a normal person would say, "This could be found."
Yes. It's like, say,
Okay.
if you didn't understand what it was and you didn't see the August Underground movie thing, and, like, if you didn't see it, and he picks it up from the moment that the first frame of the movie starts to where it ends, you could give it into the police and they'd have to study it. I would say.
Mhm.
Just for me watching all 3 of them, just saying, like, I would definitely say that. When I first watched it, I
Alright.
wasn't quite sure how real it was. So,
Hmm. That's a good one if they don't get you questioning that type of thing. That
mm-hmm.
that really is good one, that especially in that genre.
Yep. So,
Alright.
yeah. Back to me, guys.
Sweet. I
So,
suppose so, sir.
let's see. We've only got off like one man down. What is that first one? It's Wishmaster, right?
Wishmaster.
Yeah, let's go for Wishmaster.
Okay, Wishmaster is what happens if Pennywise and Hellraiser combine into the same character.
Oh shit, that sounds bad.
And basically, it's the story of what would happen if Aladdin was told when if Jafar was the genie the entire time instead of Robin Williams being
You
the
mean
genie.
you mean if you had an actual the proper definition of a genie, not the Disney
Yeah,
version.
he's actually refers to himself as a jinn in this,
Yeah, yeah. He's
movie.
like he's a literal djinn. Djinns are known to be dangerous as fuck. You're not meant to like mess with djinns. So
Okay.
yeah,
So what had happened in this movie there's several to this series as well, and as you know, as they get longer and more convoluted, they, become stupider and stupider as they go on. But, yeah, I'm trying to think of the country. I think it's Arabia. Forgive me for that. It's literally kinda playing off of the Aladdin stuff is what it's
yeah.
doing. But either way, starts off over there where the Sultan gets a gem that has the jinn in it, and he's told that it can grant wishes. But the jinn grants wishes in ways that he uses your words against you. He
He,
asked for a party that no one would forget.
yeah.
So what had happened to some of them people, their skeletons literally walked out of their bodies, started killing people, all kinds of other fucking crazy shit started happening.
Hmm.
Um,
He sounds like the leprechaun in a weird way. You know what I mean? Where he's twisting people's words against him in that way.
and then before, much more time passes from this, one of the advisors of the Sultan gets a gem and imprisons the jinn inside of a gem instead of a lamp.
Hmm.
Then the whole premises of the movie going into the present day is character finds gem, much like you would do with a lament configuration.
Hmm.
They get to where they know they have 3 wishes from the jinn. If the jinn grants you all 3 of your wishes, it's free from that gem.
What happens if it becomes free?
It can do whatever it wants to again.
Does it still have his powers? Will it still have every power it
Yeah,
has?
he still has his powers, and his powers are no longer litigated to being bound by wishes,
Okay, gotcha.
if that makes any sense.
Yep.
But he has a tendency to where when he is, granting wishes, like I said, um, for example, one guy walked by him in the street and wished that a, convenience store owner would just get cancer and die.
So we
The
just
convenience store owner came because the convenience store owner threw him out of the store because he was a homeless man, he was wanting to sleep in the store.
yeah.
After he wished that, the convenience store owner was coming out and saying, "Hey," was gonna apologize to the guy and let him come in, do all that to correct his being an asshole.
Yeah.
But as he was walking in the street, he got literally every single form of cancer you could possibly have all at once
Oh shit, that's bad. Yeah.
and died immediately. I mean,
Yeah.
so that dude, I mean, it's just a very fucked up movie. It's my most fucked up movie in
Hmm.
this list because of how much they use a lot of practical effects in that shit about the way he enacts those wishes because some of them are very, what's the word for it? Creative on his part of how he, does them. I can't do him enough justice to talk about a lot of them. But just the opening scene, like I said, of literally seeing a skeleton walk out of someone's skin from the front,
Yeah.
the practical effects behind that back in, once again, the '80s time period of movie with the gore and the body horror, that was pretty good.
Sounds pretty sick, man.
But and his design was pretty good too. I wish I had picked that picture for you, what the gin actually looked like,
Yeah.
but, I didn't do that for that one for whatever reason. But
Makes
once again,
sense.
he's a supernatural being. He has magical powers. He is, by the constraints of the movies he's in, he's bound to rules because he's never been freed from that gem.
Now you see what I'm proposing is that we free him from his lamp or whatever
Okay,
he's
because he
contained
was
to.
that to begin with. He
Yeah.
was free in the first, like, 10 minutes of the movie,
Yeah.
so we
But I
can
mean,
say
I
that.
would like free. I would say keep him free. So like, say he got somebody to give 3 wishes and he didn't kill them in the process. And
Yeah. So, with that being said, in terms of true power, if he's unmitigated by any rules, he's above Freddy
yeah,
because he can do
isn't it?
anything.
Yeah, he is literally unlimited in that way. From what you're describing, I mean, he's a djinn man.
Yeah,
Djinns
if he can,
are.
if he can imagine it, he can do it.
I mean, like djinns in folklore and like just in like things we've seen. I've seen movies about djinns which are extremely fucked up because they are like they were demons. That's literally what djinns are. They're not like how
Yeah.
like Disney made djinns into genies and made them all magical and nice, and that's not what djinns are. They're
Mhm.
like literally from like bad folklore that like you should never trust a djinn because it will always backstab you.
I mean, hell, since, this is on the YouTube part of this for 2, so if you wanna go grab a picture and just see what this dude looks like, just the Jinn from Wishmaster.
I'm gonna search it
I
now.
shoulda got that for you.
I'm gonna search it. Let's see. Oh, that's in there. There you go. Should be able to see him on the
That
screen.
whole thing is a goddamn bodysuit, man. It's
It looks cool to be fair. Yeah, man,
and
some practical effects.
the way he gets around in public, he went to some random dude, cut the dude's face off, and literally puts the dude's face on like a mask, and he becomes what that guy looked like as a human.
Damn, he
That's how he
otised him.
walks
He literally
yeah,
otised him, man. That's cool.
and the real way.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, to be fair,
But
like Otis
yeah.
does that as well. He just cut off people's bodies and faces and suits and wear them. So
Oh, yeah, he did. He
yeah,
did. You're not wrong.
yeah.
But yeah, that the Djinn, he's one of my favorite characters in horror,
I need
just
to watch it. I've
because
never seen
he's
Wishmaster. Wishmaster sounds so cool. I'm gonna go watch all 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever the fuck there are.
you'll quickly see where it gets stupid.
I will.
You will quickly see
I love,
where it gets
but
stupid.
I love when horror gets stupid. Like I loved when Hellraiser got really weird, man. Like I love when movies get weird in that way, man. So
Alright.
like weirdly, one of my
But
favorite
yeah,
Hellraisers is number 7, Deaders, and nobody likes that movie. I don't know why.
I don't have anything wrong with it, but I don't also remember much about it to have anything wrong with it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I know it exists, and I know things happen, but I don't remember enough to have hatred for it.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people don't like 7, man, or 8. 8 is worse. 8 is hated, because it's in that party.
Mm. But
Yeah, but yeah,
let's, go
anyways.
ahead and let's kill off the last one that I don't know on your list
Oh,
there that you have.
Machine Gun Girl.
Yeah.
It's basically in the same style as Tokyo Ghoul, please, but a girl who I can't remember if she's in debt or basically she's in trouble with like a gang of people and they cut off her arm basically. Then she gets taken in by a guy who basically attaches a machine gun to her arm. And she goes on a killing spree for those people who tortured her and wanted and did bad things to her and basic premise. And the effects are like they are in Tokyo Gore Police, where it's over the top, it's gore-tastic, it's filling rooms full of blood, it's like that kind of a way. So
Does it still have the body mutations thing to it too,
no,
or has it
it's
got its own
yes, no, actually, no, I'm wrong. Yes, it does have the body mutations of it. It happens to the bad guys. The bad guys get more powerful by their bodies change as they get shot in places, and you'd have to watch it and see, basically.
Mhm.
So she is like a human.
So who
She isn't mutated. That's the thing. She is not herself not mutated. Yes, she cut off her arm and she has a machine gun for an arm, but that is about it. So.
okay, well, that does put her above most of the people in B because she has a machine gun for an arm.
Yep.
But does that put her in A with a fly?
Yeah, because she has a machine gun for an arm, she would take out the fly. She may not take out the
Does that
Terminator, but she would take out the fly.
okay, well, that's, put her in her
Mm-hmm.
proper place.
Yep.
We have the Terminator surrounded by two women from the same series. Can't get away.
Nope. That's literally
Alright.
where they go. Anyways, I guess we're going back to me. Let's just go in order. Let's just take it straight in order. Why not?
Yeah, let's just go from here for now.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Voorhees. Lot of stuff to say if and I'm sure you're aware too about Jason because you got, Friday the 13th part 1 through 4, which he was alive
Believe it or not,
before he
I've
was
never seen them.
officially
So I've never seen
Oh,
those
you
movies.
haven't?
Nope, never.
Okay, well, then give me a minute here. So Friday the 13th, part 1, it's his mother that does all the killing.
Okay.
Jason's not even in Friday the 13th, part 1. Part 2 and 2, 3, and 4, he is a slightly, slow in the head dude
Okay.
that is not dead. He's just very hard to kill. He's hard to hurt, hard to kill. Finally dies at the end of 4. And then there's a copycat killer in 5 that tries to copy what he did. Then you get to part 6, the kid that kill a kid kills him in part 4.
Mm-hmm.
The kid keeps having recurring nightmares, so he grows up, and in part 6, he goes to where Jason's buried and does the stupid thing of stabbing him with a metal fence post through the heart while he's in the, grave, and just as what happens in movies like this, lightning strikes the metal fence post, and then we get zombie Jason from then on.
Zombie Jason.
So from part 7, 8, and 9, Jason is undead. So he's got
Okay.
all the supernatural strength, all the supernatural power that you would be used to seeing him having. You've mentioned Freddy versus Jason, so you know that's the Jason
Mm-hmm.
that is zombie Jason.
Yep. I got you.
So
So which Jason are we taking? Are we taking zombified Jason?
I ain't even done yet.
Not even done yet. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
Then we got Jason X, where he goes into space, gets destroyed by an android, and then nanobots fix him and create him into being Cyber Jason.
Oh shit. Okay. Cyber Jason,
Mhm.
man. Holy shit. Okay.
Very intimidating fucking Jason to look like if you ever get a moment to look at that one. It's, Jason X Jason is very, intimidating to look at for a Jason
Man, that's crazy.
because yeah. So all the metal that's on him is stuff that she blew off of him. The nanobots put it back on him.
Hmm.
So, um, the bad thing about Jason is all the stuff I've mentioned is the same Jason. It's all one continuity.
Yeah. So it's all the same
So
person. It's all
from
him. It's like,
it's it's all I mean, yeah, it's all I mean, and it's all following the same story timeline too.
okay.
So living Jason to zombie Jason to android Jason, it's all the same. There is no none of it's a spin-off story of another time. It's literally all in the same continuity.
Okay. So does
Uh,
that mean we're taking the robot Jason, basically? The machine
if we go with his most powerful, we have to go with what they have fan named it as Uber Jason. I don't know
Uber
why they would do
Jason?
that,
Sounds like Uber Mephisto
but
back in Diablo 2. Like, the Uber
yeah,
bosses.
but there is not a lot of data on that Jason as to what he can do, except for it does seem that he is not. I mean, a lot of his mental faculties have been repaired by those nanobots as well.
Mhm.
It seems like because he acts significantly smarter than he was previously in the movie at that point.
So that means he loses the dumb part of who he was, which means he's not really zombified because they remade him, which makes him alive, I guess, in his own way.
Hmm.
They
I
added
guess so.
they added cybernetics to him, so made him maybe that added intelligence. The cybernetics themselves. Maybe they have interfaces and
Yeah.
other stuff that because he looks over his face. Is what I mean. So no, he has like metal over his face. So I'm
Hmm.
assuming there's some kind of cybernetic thing like enhancing that. So where would he go?
Yeah. With him being in that category, he would probably go right below the alien, just because he is still the alien could still just fuck him up,
Yeah,
because the acid blood would probably still do something to him,
it would wreck him.
and
Yeah,
if that didn't work,
I
that
mean, like
goddamn
if he got killed by an android, he would definitely get killed by the alien. I would say.
yeah. The what actually killed him in Jason X when he was Cyber Jason is some dude sacrificed himself to make him fall at terminal velocity from space down through a planet's atmosphere and burn up in the atmosphere. That's
Ah,
how they
okay,
decided to kill him.
makes sense. Is he dead for sure? Not them, or is he like
We do not know.
we do?
The last scene of that movie was his mask falling into in the water.
Okay, I see.
So his mask survived the fall, so there's no telling what else of it may have.
I mean, if the mass survive, that means they could bring him back, man. They don't give a fuck about continuity at this point.
Mhm. Now
If he
Freddy versus Jason is actually the one that's not part of the continuity, but it's also not part of Freddy's either, so.
no, no, it's just fun. I think.
Mhm. But yeah, I mean, I hate to say it for your Tokyo Gore police. I think that she would have a problem with a cybernetic Jason, but I think Cyber Jason could easily body the T-800
Yeah, I would say
because he
like,
can already
but then again, I would say Machine Gun Girl could obliterate Jason. Technically,
even Cyber Jason.
maybe depends how much of his body's covered in metal. It's not all of it, so
No, but he does heal. Oh, you don't know that. You don't know much about.
no.
You do know about Jason's healing factor, right?
Like I said, I've never seen it. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
yeah. Well, you've seen Freddy versus Jason. Freddy stabbed him in the eyes with his hands, and then the next three scenes over, he had his eyes back.
Okay, so he's got like Wolverine healing factor almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, no, she would
So
be bodied as well. So okay, makes sense.
I mean, the alien would just beat him because it'd just tear him in half, especially if it was the queen. Queen would be too much for him in terms
Queen's
of
too much for
size.
anybody, man. The Queen only got beaten because she got shot out of an airlock, man.
Mhm.
So but no, the Queen's more
So
powerful
you
because
get
she can birth an entire race of them as well. So that's kind of like
yeah,
it makes it worse
yeah.
in that way. But
But
yeah, anyways.
but in terms of and then when you get to magic, all the magic people just beat him, including I mean, even though he beat Freddy in that movie technically, but Freddy didn't really die,
Nah,
so it
Freddy
wasn't
just like was fucking around for the
that
most
was a
part.
that was a stalemate because they couldn't say one would beat the other really is what that was.
They could have tried, but I think like Freddy would easily win. If it was truly like power versus power, he would win, I would say.
He should.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of weird powers, you get art.
That's true. I don't know much about him, so this is all to you know.
You don't know much about
These are
you
all
don't know
yours, man.
about
Now
Terrifier?
these are all yours, man.
You I know, but I thought you knew about Terrifier's little
No, I
clown bastard
I don't. I haven't
villain.
seen much of the classic ones. To be fair, I've seen.
He ain't
I've seen.
classic.
I've seen a few of them, but I've not seen all of the ones. I thought
I mean, he's
Terrifier was
not
classic.
classic.
I thought he was. I could have sworn he
No.
was.
Go pull up that release date for Terrifier 1, and
Hold on,
you'll
let's see.
see it's not classic.
If I'm on year 2016? Yeah. Okay. That is.
It's not
My bad.
it ain't classic. No, sir.
I assumed
No,
it was
thank you,
classic, man.
sir.
Never mind. I take it back.
That's why I thought you would know about it because it's newer.
No,
But anyway,
I've never seen it.
this fucking dude is some kind of weird possessed man of some kind or another. He is vulnerable to I mean, he can have his head blown off with a gun, for one, but he has this fucked up power. You've heard us talk about it a few days ago, but I'm gonna elaborate on it. If he's killing you, he has the power to keep you alive until he's done with you, no matter what he does to you.
Sounds like a nice power to have, to be fair. That's like a villain, anyway.
The thing One thing he did in the first movie, he tied a female character upside down
Hmm.
by her ankle and used a wood saw to cut her in half from groin to head and kept her alive during that whole thing
Damn,
up
man.
until that was over. And
Craziness, man.
then there's the bedroom scene that you can pull up on YouTube if you really want to for the people, but it would get you fucked up on here, so don't do it right now. We'll do it later if you want to,
Yeah.
because it would be too graphic. But it's on YouTube somehow. But that scene is just fucking why? I'm yeah. So, but in terms of his durability, he has none. It doesn't seem like. He's vulnerable to whatever you do to him if you can get the upper hand.
That's interesting. What's his power, sir? Like, is it just to keep you alive? Is that his power, basically?
That's all he does. That's all he has. He has
Interesting.
no other powers. I mean, he's just
Is he like?
sadistically creative.
Is he like literally just like a human, basically, in that way?
Yeah. Essentially, he might be a possessed dude or something at maximum, but he's no demon. At
So
least not in the first
so
movie.
he's more like a Joker than he is like a anything else.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to the way he does with people, I mean, for example, he slashes up somebody in one of the movies, runs out of the room, grabs both a bottle of bleach and a can of salt, comes back in and pours the bleach on the cut on the open wounds, and then pours the salt on them, and then goes off and gets something else. He's just there's no rhyme or reason to what this dude does.
He's just a psychopath. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that means he's in D tier, maybe C tier, maybe max.
He's got well, to be fair, just due to the fact if he has an actual power, he might be in B at the bottom of B.
Yeah, because I mean, if he's just a regular dude who can keep people alive, then like any cabal in like Hostel or in Martyrs would easily body him. So, and a tribe of
Yeah.
hungry cannibals would body him too. So yeah,
I
yeah,
was saying he could probably be there, but just because he has an actual supernatural ability, whether it's fucking useless or not, the writers gave him that power to explain how these people
yeah.
survived what he was doing to them.
I mean, like
Because
if
there's
they'd
no way,
yeah,
even in the realms of a band,
even
the
suspending your
whole
disbelief. Yeah,
yeah, suspending disbelief on horror. There's no way that anyone survives what or even remains conscious at all through half of what he does to them.
yeah, makes sense.
Okay, we're on Myers now.
Yep. Like I said, I've not watched many of these like typical movies that most people have seen, so it's all down to you. Like I said, this whole last
You're
bit,
not so Myers.
you literally like left all the ones that you know to land. So I'm just gonna sit here
I
and let you
thought you
explain shit.
would know some of these. I thought you'd know some of them. You picked the classic ones. I thought you knew those.
Technically, we
Anyway,
both picked the classic. We both picked about half each.
yeah.
So.
But, yeah, Michael Myers, once again, another very long series of, movies to where there's 3 continuities, and that's the good thing there is because there's not just one Michael like there is one Jason.
Mhm.
There's the original run for Michael where he's basically just a hard to kill human being.
Mhm.
Then there's the, Cult of Thorn Michael where he is a hard to kill human being that's cursed with the abilities that he has, which he doesn't really have any abilities other than being extremely hard to kill and healing fast and, uh, getting stronger every time he kills people. And then there's the final continuity to where it's some kinda weird hybridized mix between the 2, kinda, sort of.
Okay.
So but that's the most recent ones, and he actually finally has died in the most recent ones officially, unless they find a way to bring him back from being thrown in a wood chipper,
That's gonna be
which
an
they may.
interesting one to like explain. Okay.
But in terms of physical strength, uh, Jason as zombie Jason is factually physically stronger than Michael Myers is.
I
Michael
got you.
Myers has average human level intelligence,
Mhm.
but his ability to stealth around places, it's arguable that Michael can actually somehow teleport,
Oh,
because
okay.
he's the one that you always hear about that's always walking behind people and then
Yeah.
somehow's in front of them in the next few scenes.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay,
But
so let's say he can teleport,
yeah,
like so, like to have no doubt about, say his power is he can teleport,
mhm,
and he's like crazy durable for a human, shall we say? So
yeah,
that would mean he would have
yeah,
to
he's been
be the very bottom of A tier, maybe B tier, somewhere around there.
he would probably be, to be fair, above the Fly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking Machine Gun Girl would budge him just with bullets, basically.
Yeah, she could probably find a way to beat Michael. As much as people are gonna hate us for putting Michael and Jason in A, but they are both in A. And it's kinda funny, we got Jason at the 2nd in A and, 2nd to top in A and Michael at the 2nd to bottom. And Jason is, in my opinion, literally that much stronger that where we have it, especially if you go Uber Jason, Cyber Jason, whatever you
Yeah.
wanna call it. That Jason would I mean, that's a pretty good spread there because
Hmm.
Terminator is not losing. I mean, even if the chainsaw
Machine Gun.
loses machine gun rather.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said chainsaw.
Don't
Even if she loses to Michael, the T-800's not going to lose to Michael
Yeah, that's true.
because
That's
I don't
totally
think
fair.
he's gonna be able to pick up the T-800 with one hand with a knife and stab it to a wall.
No,
I
I
don't
don't.
think he's gonna pick
I think the
the T-800 that
T800
way.
is picking him up and stabbing him through a wall, personally. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And
Anyways.
then we move on to Candyman.
Mm-hmm.
Candyman is basically what happens when racism runs wild and they give a racist victim ghost the, Bloody Mary rules,
Okay.
to where if you say his name 3 times, he comes after you.
Mm-hmm.
So he has that rule.
He has the Beetlejuice rule, basically. Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
you mean. Yeah.
So, I don't have a lot to say about it other than the fact that Tony Todd played the guy. I'd say that I like to, if I know the people that played him, I like to at least name the
Yeah.
actors. But I don't know a lot about all of he don't have very many movies. It's basically just he's a sympathetic character to me because he's a victim of racist crimes
Yeah, I know
that
what you mean.
comes back and as a ghost. I mean, he was killed by having well, 1, he had his hand cut off and, uh, I forgot what the charge was, but then he was also covered in honey and you know what and then he was introduced to the bees.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I see.
So,
So he did the crow treatment almost. You know, where the crow comes back and gets revenge on whoever inflicted the injuries on him and his other half, and similar to it anyway.
not really, except for he's actually the villain somehow, he's sympathetic to me, but he's still the villain. Because he becomes an urban legend character that it's kinda like literally like Bloody Mary, where it's people say, "Don't do this," or, "If you do this, this will happen," but they kinda have the note on it, "Don't do this because you will die if you do it."
Yeah.
So it's kinda just people's stupidity and hubris getting them killed in that movie by saying his name.
I understand. So it's like he's just a, but is he bound? He's basically just bound by whatever contract he did to come back in the afterlife in some kind of way.
Yeah,
I see. Okay.
yeah.
So he's bound by another contract
But
similar to what, like, say, like Pinhead would be, or so on and so forth.
mhm. But in
Mhm.
terms of true magic, he is less impactful than the leprechaun is.
That's
But he
interesting.
is
Yeah.
a magical being because he is a ghost.
Yeah, but does he have any? What powers does he have minus being able to like be a ghost? Is there any powers? Anything else?
Well,
Anything?
he he can manifest bees out of his body for one. If you count that as anything, I don't really count that as something unless you're
I
using
don't
them
know,
to kill
man.
somebody
People
with.
counted that as God being all powerful when he did that shit. It wasn't quite bees, but it was
But
the same difference.
I mean, he can teleport, but that kind of falls into ghost.
Yeah.
But he don't have any dimension breaking powers
Is
like
he basically
magic users.
Casper the Friendly Ghost just with a knife, almost?
That's a good way to look at it.
Fair it is. So,
But he is a horror
what?
movie villain.
Yes.
So I mean, he has power. But if you fuck it, just put him in C somewhere because if you don't abide by calling him, he can't even interact with you.
That means he goes in D because he's powerless if you don't summon him, so, technically.
Yeah. All right.
Because I'm just like, every person on that thing isn't going to be like, I wonder where Candyman is. I have no idea. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
people are gonna be
So,
mad at me, and people are gonna if they look into this, they're gonna probably say, "How dare you with Candyman and not mentioning this and not mentioning that." I don't see him as this is about how powerful these people are,
yep.
and he has very very strict rules to his
Mhm.
gameplay, and that is you have to Beetlejuice him into existence before he's even a threat.
Yep. Like, the thing with like a lot of these characters is that Pinhead can come into the physical world without the element configuration because it's happened. So,
Yeah.
and the same with all of these characters. Same with Freddy. The same with like all the characters in that way.
Mhm.
Yes.
And then the Creeper from
hmm
Jeepers Creepers.
I'm afraid of
As I
spiders.
said,
So like, is that one spiders? Or am I thinking completely weirdly about that? Is Jeepers Creepers
Jeepers
one?
Creepers No, Jeepers Creepers is basically literally based off the song, if you're familiar with the
No.
Jeepers Creepers song,
Mm-mm.
then I'm not gonna entertain you with it.
Come
But
on,
basically,
sing us a song
um,
or a poem, or
no.
you wanna.
But anyway, the Creeper is a centuries old being that, much like Pennywise, has a very long hibernation period.
Yeah.
And when he wakes up like Pennywise, he eats. And what he eats is he collects people and he looks for people that have things that he likes, that he wants. Whatever he eats from you, he gets from you. Like if
Okay.
he eats your eyes, he gets your eyes, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
So the whole thing with him, he's just a seasonal, well, I can't say seasonal because he's got like a 20 something year
Cool.
hibernation period,
Yeah.
but he's a, what's the right word? Um, I'm gonna say seasonal, fuck it. He's a seasonal monster for the people that have to deal with him,
hmm
to where some
Wouldn't
people will never have to
wouldn't
deal
like
with him.
generational be a better word for that?
Generational is a better word for it. There you go. You just needed to get me a little quicker than that, but you didn't do it. You made me stupid. Thank you, sir. But anyway, he's yes, a generational monster that comes out and hunts for people for body parts he wants. If you injure him, he will deliberately look for that body part to replace himself with.
Okay, makes sense.
Um, He he's been killed numerous different ways, but no way that he's been killed has been proven permanently effective.
Okay.
It just puts him back into hibernation normally,
hmm
immediately, if he takes too much sustains too much damage.
I got you. How does he repair them? Because if he's lose his limbs and stuff when he's in hibernation, when he's being stopped.
Well, they don't go into that detail, so I can't answer that question.
Okay.
I mean, the one thing they did to him is when he did lose in the first movie, they pinned him up against a wall in a barn, and someone came out and looked at him every now and then with a shotgun in case he started to move.
Okay.
That's the best that they did, but
hmm
but Uh, in terms of powers, he has superhuman strength. He has the ability to fly via wings, of course. He has wings. He doesn't just fly for flying's sake.
He doesn't Superman that shit. I got you.
and that's about it, except for the fact he is superbly strong and hard to deal with.
I
And if
gotcha.
he wants you, he will find you.
Yeah, makes sense.
The controversy behind this movie is the person that created I was talking to you about that a little earlier, and why if you wanna remove him from the list or not even put him on our tier list, I'll give you that option. The, creator of this franchise has been outed as being a person with interest of people of the wrong age group.
Oh shit, convicted.
I believe so, yes. So if
Okay.
you don't wanna even put the if you wanna keep the creeper in purgatory down there,
I don't judge a creator by what he writes. He's a fucked up person. Doesn't mean his creation has to be. The same with anybody
okay.
who writes something, and it's like you don't judge, like, say, I don't know, man, like, fuck. No, if you don't judge someone for reading Mein Kampf as an example. Like, it's just a book, right? It doesn't make them any about it. It's like they're learning about a fucked up person that
Mhm.
way.
But yeah, so that's the thing there. I had to say that so when we put him on here, people wouldn't come in here potentially and say, "You put that got that so and so's thing on," you know
Yeah, I'm not
you know
gonna
what I'm saying?
like. I don't agree with anything the dude did. The dude's fucked up, and he doesn't deserve to be alive, in my opinion. But dude did a thing, and or like he wrote something. Like, he didn't make the movie. He didn't do anything like that, right? So it was somebody else who made the movie. Like, he sold the rights
Oh,
to it. So I'm assuming anyway.
but I don't, I'm not gonna speak on that part because I don't truly know. I just know that the guy that created this character is the
Okay,
problem.
okay, okay. So let's
I don't know if the
let's just take
writer
him as like a character rather than like a. Let's forget the author,
okay, but
whatever, ever. So
a as a character, he once again goes above the fly, but Michael could handle him
okay, that sounds fair.
because Michael's too hard to kill for him to. Because Michael's been shot in the eye with revolvers and gotten up from it.
Yeah.
So, granted, so is the creeper, but
Hmm.
well, not really revolvers, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Leatherface, moving on down the list again, since you don't know this one either,
Nope.
but
See, it's good. It's good we
Leatherface
did
is
this. You just planned it badly. You just chose all the ones which I couldn't talk about. So
well, like I said, I thought we were gonna have a thing where you would be the one that would know a few of the old ones, that's all. I didn't know that you weren't on any of them. But Leatherface is basically a stand-in for Ed Gein. It's inspired by Ed Gein. You know what I'm talking about?
nope. I can probably search it up, but
The ser
I'll
the
let you pursue
serial
it.
killer Ed Gein.
Uh, maybe I've heard of. I don't know. I don't know. How do I spell his name? Ed G E. Uh,
Basically, he was one that,
he was a body snatcher, whatever that is. I don't know what that term means, but
yeah, he had a lot of issues. One such issue was making a suit, of human skin to resemble his own mother, and he wore it
oh,
around his house.
that sounds like the inspiration for Silence of the Lambs as well, a little bit.
And, he made furniture out of people's skin and
Yeah.
bodies and stuff and all
Okay.
kinds of crazy stuff.
Makes sense.
But, basically, all Leatherface is someone less intelligent than Jason that runs around with a chainsaw and does what his family orders him to do. So he's actually in the same he would be, Tiny in the
I was
Firefly
just thinking
family.
that, man. He took the thought out of my head. I was like, he sounds like Tiny. That's literally who was thinking.
Yeah, he's literally tiny, and he's beaten just about as easily most of the time.
Tiny's from the
Well,
Devil's
Tiny
Rejects
was
or
never
like
beat.
House of a Thousand Corpses for anybody not knowing who Tiny is. Anyways.
Mhm. But he's not hard to deal with. Yes, he has that lovely thing of being dumb, so he's hard to hurt. And that's why he's hard to hurt because
Yeah,
they play him. He's too dumb to understand he's hurt.
makes sense. Okay.
But in terms of that, he's not supernatural. He has no powers other than just dumb luck on a lot of things.
Okay.
So,
So where
but
would he go?
he is a brute though in that regard, and he is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
So he would probably go somewhere mid-C, probably above Ghostface, I would say.
Would the doctor beat him though? Because he's a doctor, man. Yes, he kidnaps people, but would he really be able to stand up to him?
Well, you might be right. Well, why is Ghostface above the Doctor?
Hmm? What do you mean?
I was wondering why Ghostface is above the Doctor.
Ghostface is below the Doctor.
Go Oh, well, I don't know these things. What's the one in front of Captain there?
Oh,
What's
that
that one?
one's August Undergrad.
Okay. I still think that Leatherface could beat Ghostface, but I don't think he like, oh, I get what you're asking me now. I just went way off left field. No, I don't think he could probably beat your Doctor guy. Anyway,
But I was thinking because he's so hard to beat, because he's so dumb that he doesn't know he's hurt. But the Doctor be able to kidnap him to begin with.
he's human, so he could probably be knocked out or sedated in some way.
Okay, then yeah, I
'Cause,
would say like potentially. Yeah, you're right. Probably about that. I wasn't sure
and
about that
then
Predator. So.
Predator.
Hmm.
Do you at least know anything about the Predator
No,
guy?
I'm an alien guy. I've never seen Predator. Like I said, you chose all my ones, and then I was like, "Wow, okay."
Well, anyway,
Hmm.
Predator, much like Alien, is an extraterrestrial creature, as you probably well know,
Yep.
that goes to random planets specifically to hunt whatever it thinks the most dangerous game on that planet is and takes trophies, be it the creature's skulls, back to its home world for recognition by its people.
So he's an American, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay, makes
Space
sense.
America,
Yep.
Space America.
Okay, sounds good.
But so what happens is Space America comes down to America and they get to fight with each other because they're both America.
Yep, makes sense.
And we just had to have an Austrian guy be the one to settle the score between the two Americans.
That's an interesting choice to have in America. I mean, like, you have so many Americans, you choose the Austrian guy? Like, seriously?
Yeah, because Arnold's in the main character of that movie.
Fuck, okay, makes sense.
But that's basically the premise of that thing. It has stealth technology. It has a lot of it has a laser cannon. It has a lot of space age bladed weaponry, and it has l- what's the word for it? A self destruct device where if it fails, it has time to activate it and it just blows up everything in a nuclear bomb radius around it.
Oh shit, okay, makes sense.
But outside of all that, it's just as mortal as anyone else is in terms of being
Is he like a
human like.
mixture between like Master Chief and American and like a highly advanced like race of like a highly advanced alien race, basically?
I don't think it's that big. No, it's just more just being just highly advanced mental alien,
Oh, okay.
more intelligent than we are, because it's got
So
laser weaponry and cloaking weaponry
yeah,
and stuff like
so
that.
where would he go? Would it be along with the T-800? Would it be an S tier? Would it be?
It'd probably be in the 800, but somewhere around in there with 800. But I don't know if it would lose to
Well,
the
there is
Tokyo
Alien
Gore
versus
fleet.
Predator for a reason, right? So I'm guessing it goes
Yeah,
right near
yeah,
Alien. That's what I'd put him, like right there.
yeah. And they actually made a point in that movie that where the predators are breeding the aliens specifically for them to hunt them.
Oh, we see. Yeah, so they
That
did it as sport because they know that aliens are the most advanced natural
and they're the
predator
most
they
dangerous
can. Yeah,
thing.
the most dangerous creature they could hunt. So yeah.
Mhm.
So who wins in Alien versus Predator? Curiously.
It usually ends up in the humans normally
Oh yeah, true. You're right. Who wants the humans to win, man?
because
I never want the humans to win. The humans can die for like.
what usually winds up happening is the alien and the predator fight each other, and the predator somewhat sides with the humans to because the alien is the bigger threat,
Yep.
and the alien and the predator both end up dying usually
Man, that's some bullshit. Why can't they work together, kill the humans, and then fight, man? See, that would be a much better movie.
because you can't reason with a xenomorph.
You can reason with the xenomorph. At least they're highly intelligent. You just need to find a way to communicate. Nobody's ever tried. Everybody just like breeds them and then locks them in cages, man. Like, what the hell do you expect to happen if you lock something that's intelligent in a cage?
I don't know.
I'm making dumb points, don't worry. It's okay.
As much as I hate to do this, though, do you think you can give me 2 minutes?
Yeah, sure. We're gonna, well, like, sure, go for it. I'm gonna get a drink while you do that. Okay, okay, mate.
Sorry about that. I was gonna have a problem if I'd sat here for any longer.
You just let me. I needed to go to the bathroom since like an hour and so.
Yeah. So, let's see, let's say look back about 5 minutes from wherever you're at now.
Yeah.
We didn't leave
Oh,
that on a cliffhanger, really. We were pretty much
yeah.
done with that sentence.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh, I just sit and post this
So
one.
I'm gonna move us on forward then, if that's okay. We're good?
Hmm. We've gone through the tennis. We just need to determine shit now. So,
Yep. Alright. So, with that being the way the list is looking right now,
yep.
um, if we're gonna do what I talked about before, we got 5 on the top.
Yeah. See now, what I
Very
would do?
powerful.
I would do the top of each tier. I would do each tier against each other. See, I'll do top of T, top of D, top of C, top of B, top of A, top of S.
Okay. Well, then let's look at that then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so on the bottom tier, the way we have it ranked right now, we have Jigsaw currently ranked as number 1, but everything below him, with exception of maybe Candyman just due to his rules, could be more dangerous individually than John Kramer would be.
Yep, I agree, 100%. I would argue Chucky would overwhelm John Kramer because you like, I don't like. It depends on prep time. Like I said, like with John Kramer, it's all about prep time. So, well, how
Mhm.
long does he have to prepare to get everything ready for? Because we see it in Saw 1, what happens when even the police find him and he's able to run away and he kills Tap's partner and slices Tap's throat. So.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So with that being said, I guess John loses on D.
So you're gonna put
So
him
does
to the bottom.
Candyman because Candyman has to follow rules.
Mm-hmm.
The Crypt Keeper is a storyteller that just has no
Yeah.
combat power at all.
He would go below John, so he would go there.
Your inside deal. is once again a case of insanity that could be over after it was after the main goal was accomplished.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put
So
her there-ish. That seems about right. So it's between Five Nights at Freddy's person, Guinea Pig, and Chucky.
well, that's a pretty interesting combination there because we could say all three or I could find a way to relate all three of them together.
Yeah,
Hmm. If you talk about the term of guinea pig, and then you talk about Afton, and then you talk about Chucky and fact of Afton and animatronics and possession of so this is a
Mhm.
pretty interesting final three to be left with on here.
Well, like Guinea Pig is pure torture, right? Well, like it's pure experimentation. So I
Mhm.
don't know if that would rank in this as like a versus type thing. I don't think it really correlates in the
If
way that I wanted to. So
okay, well then that leaves Chucky against Afton,
yep, it would be between these two.
and they are so fucking similar that it's not even funny if you really think about the depth of what their characters are.
Yep, but
They're both
one's a grown
serial
man,
killers.
one is a little doll. So,
Yes, that's about the only thing. But that little doll was at one point a grown man.
but he's not anymore. At least not in this sense.
Yeah. Um, it could be said, in my opinion, that Afton could probably beat Chucky because he deals with these things like this already, like possessed
Yep.
object.
What about Chucky's voodoo? Do we take that into consideration?
The only way Chucky's voodoo works is if he tried to, possess Afton
You could
in
do that
some
because it's the
way.
first person he reveals himself to, right? Which would be Apton in this case. So it's still a human body,
So,
even if he's inside of a suit or animatronic. Or
but he would still have to be able to incapacitate Afton long enough to do that chant.
well, does Afton have to sleep? Does he like? Is he always in the suit? Does he like never sleep or rest? Or
I mean, he does. I mean, obviously,
because Chucky uses that to his advantage. He only strikes when he knows he can win. Chucky doesn't go into
Mm.
fair fights. That's not what he does. So
The only way that Afton wins is just once again due to him being used to dealing already the concept of a possessed inanimate a normally possessed object is not foreign to him.
yeah, that's true.
So he might be a little bit better suited to being prepared for something like
Mm-hmm.
Chucky.
True.
But um if the cards fell right, yeah, he could get Afton in his sleep.
Yep. Or even if he's just not
But
expecting it, because yes, he's used to possess things, but he doesn't know what Chucky is unless Chucky reveals it first.
mhm,
So it
so
depends. Do we go by surprise for Chucky, or do we go by the logical fact that he's bigger, stronger, faster? Don't know about faster, but
and
you know
already has experience with
exactly.
possession
So
stuff.
it depends which way you want to go about it. Personally, I would keep Chucky at the top just because Chucky's unpredictable in that way. So, but
Mm,
I don't know.
yeah,
It's hard. It's
and we
hard.
have
It's hard to say.
to be fair though, I mean, when it comes to Afton, he doesn't really become a big threat until he's been killed and becomes Springtrap.
Yep,
That's
that makes
when he
sense.
becomes a bigger problem.
Hmm. I got you. So we'll keep it like that. I think that's fair. I think I keep Chucky at top. Do Afton, and then
Mhm,
obviously all the other ones that fall into place.
mhm.
Okay, so now we're
So
going into Cetus.
so all the non-entity events just already default then, don't they? Or do they in this the Doctor doesn't. But does the Red
So
Room default at the end?
that's a good question. So the Red Room, it's more about how fucked up people are. If that makes sense.
Mhm.
It's more like I said, it's a game of truth or dare, isn't it? So at the end of the day, yes, it goes to
Yeah.
some crazy places. Like it goes to glass being in places that it should never be, and being forced to do other
Mhm.
things with glass that should never be done. And
Yeah.
in the end, it's just humans. At the end of the day, yes, they're in a group, and yes, they're playing for money, and that kind of makes people crazy, as you can imagine. But
Mhm.
I would put Red Room at the bottom, probably, to be honest.
Okay. So what about that one in front of Spalding? I can't remember what you said it was.
The August Underground, the serial killer guy who's recording. You mean
Okay. So
I've only
all of these qualify. against
Yeah,
each other. Then.
yeah. They all of similar nature, basically. For me, the serial killer guy, I've only ever really seen him kill women, but I know he has fought men and like he is like into the hardcore scene. He is like a not a metalhead, but he's into the hard, heavy music, and he's in mosh pits, and he's that kind of guy basically. So that's how he's portrayed in the.
Mm.
And eventually, he
Yeah.
even has like a girlfriend who helps him and stuff like that. But that's going further into it, but still.
Hmm. So does he beat Ghostface? Because out of all these, technically, if we start going into all the stuff that they have, because we have to on this type of thing, because you got to count all the things they can do.
Hmm.
Um,
I would
does he
put
beat Ghostface
say
being a since there's two Ghostfaces in the first movie alone?
um it depends on I would say Ghostface probably wins just because like due to normal guy he doesn't have anything about him. He's not intelligent or there isn't anything about him. He's a regular dude, man. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't say there's anything special that really makes him like a prolific serial killer. He's just a serial killer. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He's not smart in any way.
Okay.
I'd put him next to Adrian probably down there. Then I
All
would
right.
say, can the Doctor get all three of these? The Doctor can easily get Spaulding. That should be fine. He
Yeah.
can get Ghostface because
Yeah.
regular dude. It's just Leatherface. Can the Doctor get Leatherface? What'd you say?
If he can incapacitate Leatherface before Leatherface gets to him, then he wins.
Yeah, I would say that as well. It depends on whether he could. Like, would he be like? I guess I know he can use things to um put them out. I think he either uses an injection or he uses chloroform in the movies. So something like that.
Mm. But because I mean, Leatherface, like I said, he's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
He's more of a normal guy. He's just as normal guy as the other three we're talking about.
Okay. So in that
It's just
way,
we're talking about varied levels of intelligence when it comes to the all
yeah,
four of these guys.
makes sense. So I'd put the Doctor as number one because he could out intelligent. Like he's smarter than
Yeah,
everybody else, and he's
because
like,
technically, go ahead.
sorry, good, you went.
Technically, Ghostface is basically a college student.
Yeah. So
So,
I would do it like that personally.
mm,
So I'd put Spaulding in number two. I'd put Ghostface in number three, and obviously the Doctor in number one. So
okay.
now we're going into
Moving
Bisa,
up.
which is
Yeah,
hostile,
moving up.
which is a cabal. We have the cabal in martyrs. We have a cannibal tribe, and do we have another?
Then we have Art the Clown.
Hmm.
This might be the one that I would just want to give to a group rather than Art, because because one of these groups is probably more dangerous than Art is individually, because Art can't do more than what he can do on his own.
Yeah, I'd say both of those groups
All these,
are more powerful because they're both like highly rich people. Like they are the Illuminati of their world, right? Like the hostile group, rich group is basically the Illuminati of that world. The same with the martyrs group; they are the Illuminati of that world. So
mhm,
in both senses, it's done differently, but it's in that way.
yeah.
And if that group went
So,
up against a group of cannibals, they would like just obliterate them without even trying. So, no, because it's a group of
yeah.
like smart individuals. So for
Mhm.
me, I'd probably put like that. The cannibals would eat him, and then whichever cabal you want to be number one.
I think the hostile one would basically be more powerful just because it has government interactions with it, or do they both?
um, is hostile governmental? Does it have governmental actions in it?
I thought you said it did.
I don't. I don't know if that's ever stated.
You might not have. I just thought you did, based on
The
it might have been one we were
The
talking about.
Martyrs one isn't stated either. It's just some of the most powerful people in the world in both cases. They're very similar in how they are
I, I
introduced.
I may have conflated that with the Illuminati comment though a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's just an easy
A
way
lot
to
of people
just to describe what it is. So
yeah, so that might have been all that was. Probably
yeah.
was all that was, to be fair.
Hmm.
But which group would you say is in the bigger in number? Or I mean, I know
There,
you probably don't have nowhere
there's
to truly
there's
tell.
multiple hostels, so there's multiple. It's not just one hostel and one group. It's all around the world. So As for this group with these women, it's in multiple countries and places as well, so it's very similar. Like I said, it's almost the same thing,
Mm,
just done differently. If that makes sense.
hmm. Well, I say we leave the older movie in the front then, and
So
because
let me see.
it did it first.
Yeah, what's up? Marta released a 2009, and then 2005. So Hostel was first, technically.
Because if they're doing the same thing, then
I mean, the whole movie premise is different. This is just from a purely how powerful they are route. So,
yeah, I
mm.
mean, this would just mean that they've done it. They've been doing it longer,
Yeah, Hostel
and
did
this.
it first. So yeah,
So now we're here with
you
a
know
lot
what?
of actual
Yeah,
individuals.
yeah. Now we're in it here. So we have the Xenomorph, we have Predator, we have Jason, we have the machine, we have Tokyo Gore Police Girl, we have the Machine Gun Girl, we have the Terminator, and everybody
Michael.
else. Yeah, yeah.
The Fly, unfortunately, is the bottom dog in this whole thing. He's just gonna have to stay there.
Okay, sure.
Or do you disagree?
Nah, I think that's fair. I mean, he does have some powers, but he's not on that level of what's in here, I would say.
The creepers actually coded where he's at too, because he can't. There's nothing he can really do against this caliber of opposition.
No. I would say Machine Gun Girl like obliterates um I think she's good where she is.
Michael,
Yeah, I think the T800 is would be there. And I think that would be about right. Unless you want to put Jason above Predator.
I don't think Jason would be able to be above Predator, but I'm still trying to figure out if Jason loses if you beat how easily he beats the 800. But I don't know. I mean, because we were talking about Cyber Jason, so
Mm-hmm.
it could be
Yeah.
very easy for him to beat the 800 because he might have the strength to just cut its limbs off like he would a person.
Oh, if it's like was he fighting androids as like Uber Jason? Was he
No, he's
fighting?
just still fighting.
Okay.
Basically, we didn't get to see a good example of his strength that would show that it was any superior to his normal zombie strength.
Okay. I understand. So what would you say? Would you say he's strong enough to take out the T800? Could he take out like a Terminator?
If he's going to kill any of the Terminators, it would have to be the 800 because anything higher than the 800 series, he would be losing to.
Yeah, like the one in Terminator 2 he would list. You know, the one that's more liquid.
The, the T1000,
Yeah, that one.
that one.
Yep. So
And
yeah,
then the
I would say.
TX and 3 with being
Mhm.
the female Terminator, that one would definitely body Jason too.
Yeah. So it's looking
Hell,
he's
even the 850 would.
yeah. So it's good he's against the T800 basically. Is what he said.
Yeah, yeah.
So Predator would beat Jason, obviously, and I would say the Xenomorph would beat the Predator personally. So
That one could go back and forth, but there's no way to say back and forth on this the way we have it here.
no.
It depends on which predator it is because it goes literally based off of that semantical shit to where which alien is it and which predator is it
Yeah,
because they're races of their own kind or they're going to win but they're probably going to both win and lose about on an average equal rate.
yeah, that makes sense. So they're basically interchangeable. I got you.
Hmm.
So we'll just keep it like that. This seems pretty fair to me. These ones.
We didn't have to do much of that one.
No, that one I
Now
already
this one,
basically put it into the same order, into the right order almost.
yeah, 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 I would say so. The only one that could be even questionable potentially is whether or not Pinhead actually deserves more credit than we've given him
I mean,
in
with
the
this
terms of
one,
his opposition.
in this one, so obviously Jen is going to body everybody, right? So can't question that.
Yeah,
Leprechaun is powerful, but he still works more on wishes than anything else, right? So in his own
yeah,
way, Pinhead
man.
is he's bound by too many rules. I think that's what gets Pinhead. I think his rules go against him unless we're unchaining him from that, from the element configuration, from all of that stuff. But I
Yeah,
don't know.
but if you do that, then you have to also just kill the fact that Pennywise loses power if you're not afraid of him. and
That's
you just had
still
to
that
give him his
that's still a
back.
weakness, just like how Pinhead is weak against his human side, as an example. So
Mhm.
that's how they beat him in 3, I think it was. They like his own human self beat him. So
Yeah. But,
mm,
yeah, I would say that the only ones to me, besides Pinhead, obviously, wherever he would go, but he might due to, like you said, his rules might just keep him where he is.
yeah,
Um, but Freddy versus the clown, they both are fear-based beings. It's
yep,
just that what I guess we already discussed this earlier too, to where Freddy just has more he keeps coming back, more
yeah.
tenacity than the clown does.
I mean, like the Hell Priest, he's bound by too many rules.
Mhm.
Whereas Freddy's not bound by as many rules, which I think makes him more of a threat. Once every 20 years is not that bad compared to every time you go to sleep. So
Yeah. And the Djinn has no rules if he's not confined to his gym.
yeah, we unconfined him just to give him like free reign because I think that's the fairest way to do it.
To be fair, he did start the movie in that state.
Though to be fair though,
That was
like if we say that, like what about the leprechaun? Is he bound by his rules if we take away his wishes? Not his wishes, but like is he bound by his wishes in some way, or is that by his choice that he does it?
I think if he is able to convince himself that you've stolen something from him, that he can still interact with you on that way because that's how his whole thing, for the most part, when he thinks people have stolen his gold.
Yeah, that's true.
So, so if he can convince himself that you have stolen from him,
How
then
about if we remove the fact that we stole from him and he could use his powers free reign, like you did with the Jinn, we removed his wishes. Like, would that change his rating?
it might put him above Pinhead because he wouldn't have the rules that Pinhead does.
And that could still technically, because we said every character has opened the lament configuration technically, so, in this
Mhm.
way, in this scenario. So
Yeah,
it's
if all these people open the lament configuration, the only one that would be almost immune to the lament configuration's powers would probably be the Jinn because he's from where he could just go there anyway.
yeah, that's true. I mean, Pinhead could try and take him, but the Jinn would be way more powerful. He's got unlimited magic, so he would out magic
Yeah,
Pinhead basically.
yeah, he would be from. If you look at hell and the firm, like the Dante's Inferno stuff, the Jinn would be from a completely different circle of hell than the Cenobites would be anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like it's all different variations of hell, right? So we could say that the Jinn is from a different theological hell than what say the Cenobites are
Hmm.
in that way, anyway.
But
But yeah,
but yeah,
for
that
me,
that list,
what about
I think that looks good.
Freddy and the Hell Priest if Freddy opened the men configuration?
I don't know because they already consider Freddy a dream demon, you know.
Yep, but if he opened it and he's there, like it's a different kind of demon. It's not a demon that the Cenobites are aware of, should we say?
And I mean, granted, this is I know you're saying that we're already given the idea they can open that all of them have opened it, but could Freddy actually, even with that said, could he open it without possessing someone? Could he open it in the dream world and it work?
Yeah, of course he could. Opening it is opening it. It doesn't matter.
And if he did,
The Cenobites convince people to open things in their dreams and to make it happen in real life all the time. I know they do it in real life, but
so
I imagine because Freddy's a real thing inside of because he has a place where he's like where he has his own realm, right? That realm is a real place which he belongs to. So as long as he
mhm.
opens it in that realm, he's still a real being. So
Well, if he opened it in the dream world where he has all of his powers, then he's no different than the Jinn in that regard, in that exact instance, to where
yep,
he's able to do whatever he wants.
that's true. Yeah, I was just thinking because obviously, like that would mean also Pinhead, and he has all of his Cenobites and his followers and everything else going. But if we don't include that, and we just say pure Hell Priest versus Freddy, Freddy's probably going to win that, I would say, because we've never
Yeah,
seen
because
Pinhead go all out. We've never seen him go beyond chains, and
I mean, the last time that Pinhead actually tried to fight, he lost to the Doctor Cenobite.
yeah, that's true. He did, but that's
I
because
mean, that's not
the Doctor
saying.
Cenobite for some reason was so much more powerful, and I don't know why.
Well, it
Was he
was
more
because
chosen?
it was directly he was directly connected to the Leviathan.
Ah, that
That's
makes
why he
sense.
was so powerful.
Yeah, I got you. So yeah, I think that perfectly nails our tier list. To be fair, I think that's
I
more or
believe
less where
so.
we should go.
I'm not upset with it, the way it
No, I
looked.
think we did good. I think like considering how many different types of movies and genres we went through, I think it looks pretty okay to me.
A lot of people are gonna be unhappy with Candyman's setting and maybe Chucky, maybe even Afton,
Yeah,
but
potentially,
what
but
can you do?
this is just judged by power. It's not judged by how scary they are or like how much of an impact they made
There's
or anything like that.
or there's or the stories their movies tell.
Exactly.
If
So
we were doing the stories the movies tell, a lot of yours would be up in the S tier ones probably because of what the stories are telling.
a lot of them wouldn't also
'Cause
like August Underground would be near the D tier if it's judged by stories. So.
really, you don't have no good
Yeah,
stories in with them, even with all the chaos and bullshit?
it's not a story; it's torture.
Okay. Well, I was wrong.
Yep.
Let's see, which one of mine would be the best story? Probably The Terminator, actually, probably the best story I have up there.
So I mean, for like the best story out of mine, probably Martyrs. To be fair, Martyrs is a very good story out of all of them. Like they tell like a very cohesive story with it. Like it goes from the very beginning to the end, and you understand each way it goes, and it plots each bit differently too. And then it leads up to that final build up, which you don't see coming, which I can't spoil, but it don't matter. Martyrs is old now, and if you've only seen Martyrs by now, then you would obviously not going to watch it. So because they even did a remake of it
And,
in fucking America and fucked it up like they always do. So. Mm-mm.
well, I mean, every remake's always fucked up, no matter who makes it.
And then we didn't even touch The Ring or Ringo or anything. Man. We could have done so many other movies.
It's kinda funny, I say the best story was Terminator, and I picked the guy that's literally the storyteller.
You did. You literally did.
He's at the bottom of the list because, I mean, he's no threat to nobody. It's just
Yeah,
a
but he
little
tells a
dude.
good story. Or always the Terminator story much better than everything else, would you say? That you picked.
Yeah, it's more the fact that the Crypt Keeper is a, weekly 7 or so season show on
Yeah,
HBO, hour-long shows,
makes sense.
so
To be fair, the
that's more
Devil's
what it is.
Rejects is a very good story, though, from like, every picking Captain's building. It's a very compelling story.
Mhm.
At least to me. I don't know if compelling is the right word, but
You can it's interesting as
yeah.
the
Because I
the
mean,
the the most go ahead.
Because I mean, like, if you go from a House of a Thousand Corpses into the Devil's Rejects, it's like two completely different styles of film. So if you want pure horror, you go into House. If you want something that's a little bit more, I don't know what the right word is, not as psychological, you would go into the Devil's Rejects. I would say so.
Yeah.
There's two different styles to it. Anyways, as you say,
And yes, people that might comment on it, I deliberately left out Rob Zombie's version of Michael Myers when I was talking about Michael Myers because he doesn't bring anything unique to the table that the other Michaels do. So I didn't want to even bring him into the explain him. It's just got a different backstory. That's the only real things that change in that.
okay. So it's not even worth talking about in that sense. Not in this sense, anyway.
Yeah, it's still Michael. Michael's Michael is just a different way of telling the story.
I mean, we could do some cool topics and like we dive more deeper into some of these and so like if we do like a not like a movie club, where we watch some movies and we like talk about them and that could be cool.
I wouldn't mind revisiting the Wishmaster. I haven't seen it in a few years.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna see if I can find it to watch somewhere because like it does sound very interesting. I've never seen it, so it sounds interesting from what you
Mhm.
said.
I mean, yeah, like I said, it's a lot like what would it's kind of Pinhead mixed with Freddy in a way,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
or Pennywise, or one of them
Yeah,
two up there.
yeah. There's a
But
whole bunch
the
of
point
movies
is,
that like we've been talking about that I haven't seen in such a long time that I'm gonna go rewatch a bunch of like gore films at some point.
well, I mean, it's Halloween month, so it's a perfect time to do it. If no other time, I
Yep.
mean, not that you need a time, but it's the
Nope.
perfect time to do it.
Oh yes, yeah, man, for sure. But yeah, I think like we've gone way longer than we expected with this, to be fair. I think we've made this podcast into like a decent.
Maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we're gonna call it. You started, you can end the show.
All right. Well. that being the case, if we're gonna be ending this here, then this is our tier list. If you have any arguments with what we've done on here, the people that can see the list, if you can't see it and you're hearing me talk about it, go look at the goddamn list on the damn YouTube so you know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
But if you have an argument with it or if you think we should have done it different, let us know what you think
Let us know what
we
you
should
would
have
have
done
done.
with it.
Like, drop it in the comments, man. Like, look at the movies. If you don't know what they are, watch them, see what you think, and let us know
I
down below.
know we left I know we left out a few obvious things. We left out the Universal monsters. We left out the Thing.
Hmm.
We left out a lot of things that people would normally put on these lists, and the reason for that is because if we put a lot of them, like the Thing, for example, on here, it would be on the top and no one could stop it.
Yeah.
So you already know where it would be, so there's no point in even putting it on the list.
Plus, we're already close
Um,
to a 3 hour podcast, and we only chose about 30 something villains out of it. So,
but yes, that will
mhm.
next time we come to you, hopefully, if we'll still have something probably in the vein of Halloween, I think, right? Is that what we're
Maybe.
thinking?
This one's coming out on Halloween Day, man, so it depends if you want to keep going from there. Either way.
Well, let's just say as much, whatever you see, it might be recorded before Halloween, so it
Okay,
still
yeah.
may be Halloween.
Yeah. Sounds fair.
Well, I'm Kai. This was Makai over there in his purple room.
Yep. That's
Me
me.
in my little no room.
Yep. You didn't even
We
put
will
off
see you guys
your
around.
backdrop yet. How dare you? I'm joking.
No, I haven't done shit,
Nope.
and I don't know that I will just to keep you saying it. But anyway, we will see you guys next time we do something. So,
Yeah.
later, everyone.
See you later.